welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast. I don't even know, episode 5, 6 of the new season, new version. I don't know. I lost track because it's been a couple weeks. But you know what? I told you guys we are not doing a podcast if it's not going to be a high quality product. There will not be rushed together bullshit. We tried this in the past. It leads to inconsistencies. We have a certain quality level I want this podcast to be at. So, of course, when I message AndresRestart and he's like, I'll be on, you know that it's going to be a high-quality podcast. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Nate. I'm really excited to do this.
Yeah, so for those who might not know who he is, I know some of our fans do because you've been begging me for, like, weeks to talk to him. And we had, like, one email exchange at one point. But, So, yeah, he is a fellow content creator, covers Nintendo stuff. He's got almost 9,000 subscribers. If you guys can get him over 9,000 subscribers by the time you're done listening to this podcast, that would be great. Link to his channel down in the description. If you can't tell, I like promoting all the people that come on our channel. So we are going to be talking a lot about E3. You guys know we got Eric Moore across the desk, for those that forget. Haven't seen him in a few weeks, of course. Right. He is my best friend, the hostess that barely talks. Well, sometimes you got a lot to say about Pokemon. See, every now and then when I can tell Eric's got something really interesting to talk about and we can't do a full podcast, we'll have like a conversation piece and Eric will just go off and I'm like, why don't you do this on the real podcast? Anyway, it's got to interest you.
A lot of it actually has to do with I don't want to steal spotlight from our guests. So I'd like to let the guests get their reactions out. So
don't I steal enough of the spotlight?
Yes, I know. That's why I don't want to steal more of it.
I mean, it's my podcast.
I know.
Let's just be real. But I mean, no, seriously.
Yeah.
You're allowed to steal the spotlight. Yeah. You're allowed to slap me in the face, tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
And anyways, we're talking E3, and we always have a lot to say about E3 because we had, well, I wasn't going to start the E3 hype train yet. But a lot of things have been like developing over the last 24 hours, and really 48, I suppose, by you guys by the time this podcast goes public. The thing is we've had a couple particular rumors come out. Yes, I know, rumor informer, rumor prime. I get it. I understand the criticisms about all the rumor videos. Here's the thing, though. I was right.
They also get the views.
Well, I can't help it that you guys view that thing. Here's the thing. I like talking about rumors. I'm not going to sit here to shy away from it. I'm going to keep doing it. So if you don't like it, I mean, you can just unsubscribe. But please don't. That being said, we actually reported on some rumors for E3. The first real ones we reported on that surround E3. Because not all of the rumors were about E3. Some of it's about stuff we were going to hear about before E3. In particular, from a person on Twitter called Samus Hunter, who, as far as I could tell, going back through their Twitter all the way back to the very beginning, they might have deleted tweets. I don't know. But everything they have posted about has come true. The only thing I saw that didn't come true was something they said they weren't 100% sure on. But everything they said they're sure about has come true. And there's actually a couple rumors I didn't talk about that maybe I'll bring up later that has to do with stuff coming this year, which we might hear about at E3. Kirby's involved. Nice. But yeah, so there was a bunch of stuff from him, and two of the things he said we were going to hear about before E3, because he put up that tweet like 3-4 days ago. Today we're confirmed. That being Ace Attorney. We have a nice collection coming. It's coming to pretty much all platforms, including Switch. And then we got a new game trial for Nintendo Switch Online, which he said we were going to get. Nobody knew we were getting it. Nobody else was reporting on it. So that is like, okay, like direct source on that. You can maybe argue somebody else might have said Ace Attorney at some point. You can't argue about the game trial for Nintendo Switch Online. So yeah, that's really interesting. Plus we have Kelios FR. People might know about him. He's been a regular, quote unquote leaker for a long time. Usually he focuses on Pokemon, but occasionally he goes into other Nintendo things. He's got more of a spotty record. I would say he's probably more close to like 60-40 wrong versus right, but still 40% is more right than I get on my own predictions. So even if he's just guessing, he's really damn good at it. Yeah. Actually, he leaked Diamond and Pearl remakes that we're going to get and stuff like that. Nice. So he's actually been correct lately on some Pokemon stuff. And then we also have obviously a really strange trademark that Nintendo filed actually last year, but kind of flew under the radar because it's like, oh, it's a game title we already know about. It must just be like a re-upping. Well, upon further reflection of this trademark, it's a brand new trademark that's not connected to the prior trademarks for this title. We're talking about Ocarina of Time, which is just really, really strange. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. We're going to get into our wants, our desires, what we think is going to happen, at least for Nintendo. In future episodes, maybe we'll go into some of the other companies, Microsoft, Square Enix, all that stuff. And obviously we'll talk about, are we even excited that E3 is back? Because, hey, we went a whole year with E3, so now we know what the landscape looks like if E3 doesn't exist. Because a lot of people, when E3 was canceled last year, said, oh, we don't need E3 anyway, so what's it matter? Well, now we know what it's like without E3. Now we got to see what it's like with E3 back, especially in a digital-only form, which, if they would have thought ahead of time, could have happened last year. But ESA was not on top of the ball during the pandemic. But that's okay. I don't think many of us were on top of the ball last year with a lot of things, myself included. So beyond that, we're going to talk about our plans for E3, because we have some exciting stuff that's literally been developing like crazy over the last couple of days. It went from me just thinking we're just going to live stream, react, and make a few impression videos. Obviously, you know, if we get Breath of the Wild 2 news and trailers, you know, I'm going to want to deep dive into that and have a separate conversation on that. Obviously, we'll have our post E3 podcast, all that. But that's like standard fare, right? We do that every E3, and then usually we're also at E3, so then we have demos and stuff and gameplay and hands-on impressions. We're not going to have this year unless they release demos. And then if they release demos, the hands-on impressions are actually less relevant because everyone can play it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll still give some impressions on it, but it's like, yeah, but you can just play it yourself right now for free. So you don't really need my impressions to decide if you like it. That being said, we have some exciting first thing ever happening. I can't wait. Some of you guys might know what I'm already hinting at if you follow all of our social media channels, which we'll link to in the description, by the way. I'm starting to get active again on Instagram because I noticed something on Instagram. I don't know if you guys use Instagram. I've never been an Instagram person. For some reason, every post I put up on Instagram, I only have like 900 something followers on there, which, you know, it's nothing to scoff at. But when I've got 13,000 on Twitter, 66 on YouTube, 60,000 on Facebook, you're like, well, it's not that much. I get more interactions per post on Instagram than sometimes I get per video on YouTube. That to me tells me that Instagram's notification system works.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right.
A social media platform with a working notification system? Wow, I need to start pushing Instagram more because you guys might actually get my content, might actually get the information I put up there. Holy crap. So yeah, look forward to me. If you like Instagram, you go over and follow there. Obviously, you can follow Twitter and everything else as well. All right, and we'll put, by the way, for AndresRestart as well, we'll have links to all his stuff, not just his YouTube channel, but anywhere else that he's at. We do this every week for all of our guests. And as always, if he has a video he likes to promote or something like that, we'll put a link to that as well. Eric, you'll be able to link to his Twitter. I don't know if he even logs on. Well, I was going to say you should. You like sports. There's a lot of sports news on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah.
There's a lot of sports news on Twitter. Well, I don't know because people keep tagging you on my Twitter all the time and you never
respond.
Especially Corey. Corey tags you like every day.
I see it. I just don't respond.
Yeah, like, did you hear for E3 this year we're giving away an all-expense paid vacation to Walt Disney World for a whole year? Did you hear?
Yeah,
no. We're not actually. Corey said actually you said there's no expenses, so then you just buy Disney World and give it away. No.
Whoa. Whoa.
If I had that kind of money, I'd be living a whole different life over here.
Right.
You might not see me on the internet much. Not that I don't enjoy this. I'm just saying I'd be all living my best life. COVID 1. I'm living on Mars.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So before we get into the rumors and stuff like this, because a lot of people already know what they are. If you don't know what they are, I'll put a link to the original video as well if you want to see a more condensed version of just the rumors. Let's just go. E3's back. It's back. Did you guys miss E3 last year? Like, I know for Eric and I, there's like a unique experience where we were in person. And that's like, I feel like that's almost an unfair comparison to most people at home because, most of you guys, if you don't live in the LA area, don't even have the opportunity to really go. It's expensive to get flights and hotel and all that jazz. We would know because that's what we do. So, like, Andre, start with you. Like, did you miss E3 last year?
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because like missing E3, like sure, we didn't get it during the time, and you know, I every year I pay attention to E3. As you guys may know, I'm a hardcore Nintendo fanboy, so I'm gonna be religiously paying attention to that throughout those couple days of all of that media. I'm gonna be just watching all of it, enjoying it all. It's glorious to me. But last year we didn't get that, right? We didn't really get much for a long time. It wasn't even like just E3 that was gone. It was like that entire summer plus was just kind of excruciating. Like we were waiting and waiting to get Nintendo news. All we had was Paper Mario. Woohoo! And then if I remember correctly, we got that one treehouse towards the end of the summer, or you know, late into the summer, and then they said it had a special announcement to make, and it was Bakugan. And there was just so much turmoil.
I gotta stop you right there. That Bakugan game, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't. Is it? Oh, I'm looking at it over there. Is that WB on the side of it? I don't know whoever the company was that was producing that game and doing the PR for that game. I have never given that company my home address. I've never had a conversation with them, and they sent the game and a whole bunch of accessories of that Bakugan game after it was announced directly to my home address.
Whoa.
And like, it wasn't just me. It happened to like beat 'em ups. It happened to RGT85, happened to Spawn Wave. And none of us have any idea how this company that we've never talked to has our personal home addresses, especially when most of us only have public PO boxes. So like, it was really weird. Like I've had companies send things to my house, but I gave them the address. I've never like that. That's the thing. Like that game was announced, and by the way, it sucks. It's like one of the worst video games ever made. It's ET level bad. And I didn't even open it. I just watched one trailer, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I went and watched Beat 'em Ups play the game, and I'm like, yeah, it's just as bad as it looks. They really think kids are gonna play this. I think they'd rather just play Pokemon Go on their phone or something. Candy Crush, whatever they're playing these days.
Yeah.
I have kids. I don't let them have phones, so I don't know what kids play. Anyways, go on. Sorry. When you brought up Bakugan, it's a sour spot for me.
It just entirely supports my point, though, besides the whole creepy thing that they knew your address. Like, it was not an exciting announcement for most of us, right? There was a lot of backlash. And, you know, as a content creator, right, like because, you know, I pay attention to all of the credible rumors and such, like the 3D All-Stars and the Pikmin 3 Deluxes. And I'm pretty sure you also thought they were likely happening, too. So we're telling people, hey, you know, I think this is happening, but, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But, like, because of all of that time where we didn't get Nintendo news, you could feel, as a content creator, you could feel, like, the animosity sort of building up in the comments amongst viewers and stuff. So it was hard for, like, two different reasons. One, just because we didn't get a lot of games to play from Nintendo. We didn't get a lot of news to sort of be excited about. And then just like the community was getting restless. So that entire summer period without E3 sucked. So I am 100% glad that that is not going to be the case this time around. Right now, we have all of these rumors that are continually coming out, giving us something to talk about, think about. It's almost like too much to handle. And we're not even at E3 yet. We're just about 2 months away?
Starting early. Usually we don't get this kind of stuff till May. And it's already starting, and we already have some that look like they might all be true. That's what's crazy. We don't get stuff this early.
Did companies forget their security with 1 year off of E3 or what?
Well, I mean, we've had some major E3 leaks before. I still remember, like E3 2017. It was Emily Rogers said we are getting Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and she said that like 3 months before it was announced. She originally teased it like at the end of 2016. Nobody believed her. Then she mentions it again 3 months before. Nobody believes her. Then literally the day before it's unveiled, all of the press media assets get dumped online. And they're like, oh, so this was real the whole time. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So like that's like the earliest I remember hearing something that got revealed at E3. Otherwise, we normally. I mean, it's literally there's usually a 4 week, I'd say, run up to E3 where like it's rumor city. Like if you guys think I've been covering a lot of rumors now, we're not even at E3 rumor season.
Mm-hmm. this is just the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, right.
Like even when you think about some of the stuff we're talking about, a lot of it's not really about E3. So it's almost like whatever Nintendo's doing so far is mostly under wraps, unless it's Zelda related. But we almost expect Zelda. So, like here's the thing: I really missed E3 last year. I missed attending. I missed not going this year. It's always more than getting to go hands on with the games. It's really neat to bump into other YouTubers that you've talked to and interacted with and maybe done podcasts with. It's a great way to network a little bit, and it's a different experience going to E3 in person. Like we all were kids, we all grew up like E3 was this big thing that I always want to go, and now like anyone can go if you have the money. And it was always a really neat experience, and I felt like it was one thing our channel did different than other channels is we gave you lots of hands-on impressions, because most people we're not going to fork over the money, we're just going to stay home, do our live streams or whatever, and that's fine. But I always like the hands-on impressions. So the thing is, I missed it last year just being able to not go in person, but then I didn't think I was going to miss not having the press conferences, because I figured, hey, Nintendo paved the way that you don't need E3. We have Nintendo Directs. We don't need E3. Like, all these companies just have to go digital now. We don't need E3. And then we watched slowly as one company after another, when they did do digital presentations, sucked at it.
Oh, that's because they haven't had experience with it.
Like, Ubisoft did 2 forwards last year, which is why I hate that they're calling it a Ubisoft forward at E3 this year, because the forward brand does not have a good reputation right now. But it doesn't mean it won't be good. They could have learned. But it's kind of like their 2 forwards last year sucked. Like, people always make fun of them for some of the cheesy stuff that would happen with like Aisha Tyler and all this stuff at their live shows. But it was better than whatever the hell they were doing last year.
Do you remember the Wii U like digital presentations from Nintendo?
Yep.
And I think they're interesting because, like, you could argue it's some of like the best like presentations Nintendo may have had in terms of like their theatrics. But what it really was to me, like, as much as I kind of loved like the whole like robot chicken thing that they did and all of that, like, it was all cool.
Mega
or like
64. That was great.
Mecha, the Mecha Reggie, like all of that was really fun and exciting stuff as a like Nintendo fanboy.
3.
But it was a cover up for a lack of games, because the Wii U was just not something Nintendo was really able to push at the time. So it just kind of makes me think, like, if we go back, I don't remember all the details from the other stuff, because again, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Like, I can talk to Nintendo, other companies, it's hit or miss, right? But I have to imagine that part of the reason that their presentations weren't very good was because, one, to your point, they didn't have a lot of practice with it, right, Eric?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they probably didn't have a lot to show off necessarily, as much as they wanted to, because, again, the pandemic sort of delayed things.
And that's kind of the thing now is we're still in the pandemic. People are still working from home, and we still don't know what's delayed and what's not. I mean, at the beginning of every Nintendo presentation, we're still getting the COVID warning. We're still getting all these games we show, and none of them might come when we say they're going to come. Which, we've already seen, not necessarily from Nintendo yet, because it's hard to delay anything when we don't know anything.
Right.
But that's another thing why E3 is kind of exciting this year, because we still don't know anything, really. We know about Mario, and we know, or like Mario Golf, and we know new Pokemon Snap, which is great, but that comes out like literally any day at this point. And then obviously Skyward Sword HD, that's great, but again, a Wii port. Okay, like what have your teams been making that's new? Like, even Mario Golf is not made internally at Nintendo. The last new game, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, is made by Koei Tecmo. Whereas, even new Pokemon Snap, that's not made by Nintendo, that's made...
Yeah, Dynamico.
Yeah. Where is the new from Nintendo? The only games, 2 games that we know for sure Nintendo's working on internally is Metroid Prime 4 at Retro Studios and Breath of the Wild 2. That's it. What the hell is the rest of their teams doing?
Well, we know about Splatoon 3 now.
We do know about Splatoon 3 now. Yeah, sorry.
More but no, but I mean, but the like, for example, what is Monosoft working on?
Yep. What's the Mario team been doing at all?
Yeah.
Okay, you made Odyssey. Okay. what have you been doing since 2017? Like, what the hell? Hopefully something big, I hope.
What about Retro Studios? What have they been doing since 2014? Did they just can what they were working on, just jump to Prime 4? Mm-hmm. Maybe.
You know, are we ever getting a new Mario Kart game, or is like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe it? You know, we're just going to live with a Wii U game because it sold 30 million?
So what I personally hope for is that, even though I love Mario Kart and I've been wanting tracks for years, because that's the last actual ground up that Mario Kart 8 came out in 2014, right? But
yeah.
I kind of want that team, the ARMS Mario Kart team, which hasn't come out with anything since ARMS at the beginning of the generation for Switch, right? Like, I'm kind of hoping they're doing something new.
Yeah.
Nintendo just revamped their online setup. Maybe they're working on another awesome multiplayer like Mario Kart or ARMS. My heart is like begging for like F-Zero. Like, I feel like they could pull it off, right?
But
that's like not every idea they have for they'd put in Mario Kart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude, bring the death.
But they definitely have
Mario
something.
Kart. Wait, you don't.
Yeah, they have to have something to show. And like, I think about last year, and obviously Nintendo basically no-showed until the 35th anniversary, and then they did the surprise drop for Age of Calamity, and that's great. But all that stuff was basically, I get the 35th anniversary Mario is probably what their E3 plans were, so we would have heard about those plans sooner. But I look back at last year and I go, but it wasn't just like Nintendo that no-showed. Like, everyone basically, even Microsoft has a new system coming out. They do a presentation. Okay, cool. Oh, you tease Fable. You tease this. You tease... All these games are like 5 years out. So what... Now, granted, we didn't know at that time that behind the scenes they were trying to work out a deal for Bethesda, so they were kind of focused on trying to finalize that deal because that's going to lead to them having a ton of games the next few years, owning ZeniMax and all their studios. So I get that, okay, Microsoft was kind of in a unique situation last year that might have made, even if E3 existed, not that great for them. But
can I throw a question at you?
Sure.
I'm just curious. I know we don't really plan on talking about the Microsoft and Nintendo rumor stuff right now, right? But
not
I just want to throw this question out. I'm really just kind of curious what you think, because we just got, what's his face? A known, like, Nintendo investor. What was his name? David Gibson.
David Gibson.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this yet, but he said would make a lot of sense to Matt Piscatella, but I have had Nintendo tell me directly they would not put other streaming services on the Switch. Lost opportunities in reference to all the like Game Pass speculation right now. And we've seen like the Switch and all the streams
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. xCloud. Like, obviously Microsoft is teasing something, but what is it? According to David Gibson, Nintendo's told him directly that they're not going to put any streaming services on there. So it's not Game Pass. What in the world are they teasing? One idea that I'm sort of floating in my head, since you were kind of talking about how they sort of obtained all those different teams, right? Like, what if they're working on, like, I don't know, like a Banjo-Kazooie remake and it's coming on both Xbox and Switch? Like, how crazy would that be?
Yeah, Eric is
my
just
thoughts
grinning.
Exactly.
Eric is
Banjo-Kazooie, or even a Banjo-Kazooie 3.
Either or.
That would be amazing. Let's just get a triple collection of...
No, because then you get nuts and bolts.
No. I'm talking. You release,
wipe that from the record.
That is not a Banjo-Kazooie game. Good Lord. Yeah, no.
It's made by Rare.
In title. That's it. But no, you get a Banjo-Kazooie 3 with the other two packed in. That would be awesome.
It would be magical.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic it is, but it's definitely like on my mind.
Not at all.
So this isn't me doubting that Nintendo said anything to David Gibson, because David Gibson, we've covered him for a while. He's legit. He's at all the investors meetings.
Yeah.
He obviously talks to Nintendo. I fully believe Nintendo did tell him that directly. I think the questions actually come up at one of the investor meetings, and I think I remember Nintendo saying something along the lines that we're not looking into stuff like that right now.
Of course, the right now part of it.
But the thing is Nintendo also said they weren't replacing the 3DS. Nintendo also said a lot of things over the years that were just blatant lies.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to put games on mobile. Less than a year later, oh, by the way, we're releasing games on mobile.
Yeah.
It's like Nintendo it doesn't matter if you're a good buddy with Shigeru Miyamoto. Mm-hmm. They are so tight-lipped about anything that if you ask them a question directly that has something to do with any sort of competitor or any sort of thing that might mess up the current marketplace for Nintendo, like Switch Pro, they're just going to say, nope. Not happening. So, like, I'm not doubting that Nintendo said to David Gibson, Nintendo has a track record of lying to everybody until it's unveiled.
Well, is it really a lie if they slip in the casual, not at this time?
Well, that was during the investors meeting.
Right.
I'm saying that David Gibson. I don't think Nintendo lied, but they did.
Wording, semantics is definitely like a thing here, and there's like ways you can interpret different sentences, right? Like, what if, for example, we do get Game Pass or xCloud, but it's a highly customized version, which it probably would have to be if it's going to be on Switch, that's pretty much mostly just Microsoft properties.
Yeah.
Then maybe they wouldn't qualify as a traditional streaming service, so they wouldn't have lied to David Gibson.
Right. They're not planning on doing xCloud or the standard, but it could be xCloud Switch, which is it's a specified version for the Switch. So technically, Nintendo is master at language. They are masterful at their language. They don't technically lie, but they don't tell the full truth.
No, they sometimes lie. They sometimes outright lie. Shigeru Miyamoto literally said, "We are not releasing a new model of 3DS."
No,
2 weeks later, they announced a new model of 3DS. They don't always do the semantic thing. They will just straight up lie to your face.
Yeah.
Pikmin 4 has been almost done since 2015.
Oh, let's not get into Pikmin. No,
it's been almost done for
it's almost done since the heyday of Wii U.
Yeah.
God, that game's just sitting in the vault somewhere. It'd be great to get that one released. Especially since Pikmin 3 Deluxe, by the way, guys, is the best-selling Pikmin game of all time. So might be time to maybe use that momentum for a Pikmin 4. I'm just saying, Nintendo. Take advantage of the momentum you somehow built out of a game you didn't even really market last year.
I think that's their plan, because think about it. Like, the Super Nintendo world has all these random Pikmin and then Mario stuff and nothing else. Like, why? Right? And then we have this Pikmin mobile game that Niantic is developing that's coming out this year.
Yeah.
So you consider those things along with Pikmin 3 Deluxe that just came out. Maybe they're sort of trying to
and all their mobile games
momentum.
have kind of precursed a new Switch game, right? Like
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, then we have Pokemon games, which, I mean, we were going to get Pokemon games anyway. It's kind of a bad example. Fire Emblem Heroes, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Mario Run, obviously, that came out right before Mario Odyssey.
So Go did create a lot of a surge for Sun and Moon, though. Like, there is a proven sales history of doing that.
So Deluxe has a little momentum. Now people might know what Pikmin is a little bit, get the mobile game out there, then drop. So like there's kind of a pattern there where you could, you know what, maybe this year, next year, maybe more next year, we'll see, is the time to drop a new Pikmin game that supposedly has been done for half a decade.
I'll point out another little detail that might be kind of interesting. If the 4K Switch is real, right? Pikmin's always been touted as a game that benefits from higher resolutions, so maybe they want to wait and
visuals for the background,
and they'll drop it as Pikmin 4K. There you go.
Maybe.
There you go.
I kind of expect that. Maybe not with an actual K, but like something along those lines. Yeah.
So E3 last year was just it not being around sucked. Yes. I think for the whole industry. I thought that I wasn't going to miss press conferences, and then when I saw what the whole industry replaced it with, like Jeff Keighley did his Summer Game Fest thing, and he's doing that again this year. But the problem with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest wasn't that there wasn't a lot of cool indie games or even some cool AAA games. There was some cool video game music. It was neat, but it was spread over 3 months. And the problem with it being spread over 3 months is after a while, people begin to lose interest. Because it's like, look, if you watched one and there really wasn't anything that interested you, you're less likely to watch the second one, the third one, the fourth one. So like, okay, and then if you start off with like, here's a couple big reveals during our first one, but then the second one doesn't have any, then they just drop off for the rest as well. So like, if you don't have something like Nintendo Directs, if you don't have something happen that people care about in each Nintendo Direct, they start caring less and less about the next ones. And so like, we got Splatoon 3, that kind of, for some people, saved that last Nintendo Direct for them. So that said, okay, well, that means we're still going to get a big reveal in Nintendo Directs, and I would be excited for the next Nintendo Direct that's independent of E3. But Jeff Keighley didn't really create that, which is interesting since people had expectations because Jeff Keighley's Game Awards always have big reveals. I mean, we got literally the Xbox Series X was unveiled at the Game Awards of all places. We got our first ever gameplay for Breath of the Wild back in 2014, granted off camera, at the Game Awards. So like big things happen at the Game Awards. Big games get unveiled. Bayonetta 3 was unveiled at the Game Awards. Haven't seen anything since. So like, so Jeff Keighley has this big show. Like, oh, Summer Game Fest is gonna be great. It's gonna be his vision for what E3 should be, and it's not bad. It's just not. It's not hype. It lacked the hype of E3. I think what makes E3 special is it's a condensed period of time where a huge chunk of the industry comes together to collectively take advantage of each other's audiences to unveil a bunch of products, and you find out about a bunch of things you might not otherwise find out. Like Andre, as an example, you just primarily care, Nintendo, right? But then, like, because they're at E3, you might hear about some big things that happen with Xbox, or some big things that happen with Square Enix, or that aren't coming to Nintendo because Nintendo's partaking in this E3 event. So you're surrounded by people talking about it.
I always pay attention to like the Ubisoft event just at the hope that they show something off. Like I think there was that one time they showed off like Star Fox, for example, in Starlink.
Oh, that's
so
such a tease,
I keep my eyes peeled.
It's like Starlink, and Starlink, by the way, is really good, guys. It's just and like I don't know if you've played Immortals: Phoenix Rising, but oh my god, if you love Breath of the Wild, that game. I don't know that it's better.
It's
than
on
Breath
my
of the
list,
Wild, but it's up there. It's
on my list.
Oh, it's good. Even the Switch version, it's excellent. Because I played it on Switch. I've also played it on Google Stadia. I own it on Switch. I think I played it on PlayStation 4 once. But anyways, so yeah, I missed E3. It sucked not having it around. And now it's back. Now we have a bunch of major studios. Yeah, no Sony again. Sony dipped out a few years back. I think Sony... Well, there's two things that happened why Sony dipped out. Was one, their last presentation they did was not good. That's when they showed off Last of Us 2, and they moved the live audience from one studio to another studio in the middle of E3 after only being in the one studio for all of 10 minutes just so they could play some 9-minute interlude song from Last of Us 2. And then they moved them to a thing and did this giant intermission thing where all the people that they had talking to intermission had nothing interesting to say, lost everyone. It was one of the worst, like, live shows that like, I thought it was bad when Nintendo was on stage and trying to make Wii Music look like it worked. like Nintendo literally failed making Skyward Sword look interesting. Like, oh, we have one-to-one motion. Crap, it's not working on stage.
Or not.
Like Nintendo's had some really horrible showcases out there. Microsoft has been really lame. Ubisoft has a lot of cringe every time they do Just Dance, not only do I get a copyright claim on my channel. Yeah, right. Thanks, Ubisoft. I don't know how you haven't figured that out by ahead of time to okay it with these music publishers to not have that happen during the event, because you keep telling us you literally Ubisoft will email and be like, hey, live stream our event. Hey, how about you don't put copyrighted music that's going to get my channel a strike down and I can't stream for the rest of E3?
But don't worry. We won't copyright strike you.
Oh, yeah. Ubisoft won't.
Oh, I know. That's what they said. That's what they said. All of a sudden, I was like, then like half the a good majority of the people got copyright strike. And they're like,
oh,
what?
Yeah. It was.
You said you weren't going to do it.
Was that like 3 years ago? Yeah, it was really bad.
It was bad.
All the big streamers on YouTube got pissed because because Ubisoft happened on like day 2.
Yep.
And there's 4 days, and they couldn't they couldn't stream Nintendo. They couldn't stream Nintendo, like a major platform holder. They could not stream it to their main audience because of the copyright strikes. So they're all running to Twitch, where none of us have a big audience, and it's like this is just the dumbest.
Yeah, it was a pain. I remember that one.
So now people try to mute it, but like you gotta catch it like in the first 5 seconds, or you're getting striked anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait a second, is that? Oh shit, too much of it played. We're screwed now.
Are the dancers coming out? Nope. Mute,
like I literally like sang a song, like one tiny little verse from a refrain of a song during one of my videos like 2 weeks ago as a joke because it kind of fit something we were talking about. It was "Wake Me Up When September Ends" by Green Day. I sang that little line for just a brief second in there. That small clip I didn't get a strike for it, but it got the video claimed. I'm like, that's my voice. How do you know I'm not writing a song?
Yeah, right.
And just jack some lyrics, which I guess would be illegal, but
well, yeah, but
they don't own those individual words.
I mean, right.
Fair use is a thing.
Right.
No, yeah, but on YouTube it's really bad right now. You can't do covers of things anymore. It's just bad. Anyways, even though technically covers are completely within fair use.
Right.
I think it's often because
the problem is you have to fight for it. Like,
the problem with covers is you need to prove that you didn't take the original sheet music because you're not supposed to legally be able to use that sheet music. Now, if you came up with it all on your own, that's fine, but you have to prove that you did it all on your own, that you didn't reference the original sheet music and just edit it, which that's why YouTube's like, well, we can't prove that, so we're just not going to allow it. And it's dumb. There are some groups that do get permission now. Some of the bigger choir groups out there and stuff, they do get permission. But anyway, so like E3's back, and I'm really excited because all these companies come back together. We have Microsoft and Nintendo participating. Obviously, Sony obviously their last show wasn't good, and they told ESA a while ago they don't agree with what they're doing with the show. I don't know, like, not sure what they don't agree with because
has the show really changed all that much?
It has, because they let fans in now.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
But, like, that's what Sony does at PSX. So I don't know. I never really understood what Sony's issue is. Then again, we're not going to spend much time talking about Sony. I don't like what Jim Ryan's doing over there right now. So a lot of Sony fans don't like what Jim Ryan's doing and saying over there. Although, kudos to Jim Ryan for, caving to peer pressure and realizing, hey, maybe we shouldn't shut down services on a console that makes it so people can't play games anymore. Maybe that's the thing we shouldn't do. So kudos to them for at least going back on that and admitting they made a mistake. But when it comes to E3, like we have obviously Nintendo, Microsoft. I believe Capcom said they were participating. Now we have Square Enix, which wasn't part of the original announcement. They're participating. That's huge.
Yeah.
And I think Square Enix maybe wasn't part of that initial announcement because I think a lot of the stuff they have to show they could have showed with PlayStation. So they wanted to see if Sony was going to participate, and they didn't. So then Square's like, oh, well, then we'll get in. We're going to show you Final Fantasy VII if Sony won't.
Right.
We're not going to wait for Sony's permission. Like, this is our game. So, like, and that's really exciting because we'll probably see Project Triangle Strategy. We'll probably see that.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'd like to see more Square games coming to Switch. That'd be great. I'm really hoping that, because like Square Enix and Capcom, those are like the two Japanese companies that are just killing it right now. Just killing it. I mean, look at all of Capcom's recent releases, and like still we have Monster Hunter Stories 2 coming up.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, with both Rise and Resident Evil Village, they have like 2 Game of the Year contenders right there.
Yeah, and there's all those rumors out there from Dusk Golem about how like there's a Revelations 3, but it won't be called that, and it has like the budget of Village coming to Switch, like potentially even later this year. Like that's obviously something that we get shown off at E3. Like that's just there's so much exciting stuff just from Capcom for Switch owners, let alone the entire industry. Like Village is a big deal, and demos out there, play it for free. I think it's out on all platforms now. I know it was on PlayStation early. And then, obviously Square Enix is doing their thing, and then Microsoft, we presume Microsoft's got a shitload of the show because some people were disappointed Bethesda doesn't have their own show, but then Microsoft is like, hey, like they're part of our show, and like, but they're going to be like their own section of our show, so like it's going to be like they have their own conference, but it's within the Microsoft show. Like, well, yeah, no shit,
right? You
own them. Why wouldn't it be the case? So who knows what we're going to see from them? Are we going to see Elder Scrolls 6? I have no idea. I have no idea what to expect from Bethesda, other than what Starfield. That's the one big game that's supposed to come this year, their space game. So we'll see about that. And then Nintendo, which is obviously the company we care the most about here at Nintendo Prime. It's the company AndresRestart cares the most about. It's the company that, for the most part, Eric and I grew up on. Yeah, we dabbled a bit in Genesis. Yeah, we dabbled a bit in Xbox. Yeah. Yes, we went. Well, for some reason, we never dabbled in Sony because we're Nintendo. Fuck Sony. Yeah. That's what it was with the kid. I mean, if you played Nintendo 64 back in the day, fuck PlayStation 1.
Yeah, right.
You don't touch Sony consoles.
Yeah, right.
That was the attitude back then.
It really was.
Like that, and I argue it's almost still the attitude. Console wars are still very much a thing today. It's stupid because people just want to point out justify their purchases, but.
While I am a Nintendo fanboy, I do own a PlayStation 4. I do like Microsoft games. I do play the other games. So just to be clear, just Nintendo's like the heavy favorite.
Right.
I literally right now I'm staring at a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. And I got my Switch right here next to me, which is just in the shop because it's cool, and I have a light up Zelda thing, and we're gonna be talking about Zelda in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I got a gaming PC that I also edit on. So like. You can't accuse me of any bias here.
Well, besides your name. But
well, okay, so the bias for me is that I obviously love Nintendo
right.
games in general more than other platforms. It doesn't always mean that I think Nintendo has the best hardware or the best services. They definitely don't have the best services. Right now, Game Pass, my word, I wish if all three platforms had Game Pass, I would be in heaven. How much money I'd save. Holy crap. If Nintendo did a Game Pass, my God, my bank account would thank me. Or thank Nintendo, really.
Yeah.
Because, God, I'll give them I'll give them $200 a year. I don't care. That's like only 3 games. 3 $60 games. And Nintendo doesn't drop prices on games. So, God dang, would I love a Game Pass, like a Nintendo Pass, I guess they should call it.
Would that make sense for Nintendo, though?
No.
Like, you look at...
No.
Yeah, so, like, they're probably never going to do it because as long as their games can keep their value.
I think it depends. I think what's happening is Game Pass is kind of like that pioneer right now. And if Game Pass is now up to 23 million subscribers, they start getting to 50, 100 million plus subscribers, you're gonna and you start seeing the revenue that's being generated by it, it's going to make Sony and Nintendo go, oh shit, we need to do something before it's too late. Now Sony is obviously in better position to get on that because Nintendo's online infrastructure is infamously not that great. I know they're trying a new thing with servers and all that, and that's great. But I mean, we're not talking about servers with Microsoft. Their servers are great. They're some of the best in the world.
Right.
We're talking about, hey, you could download every Microsoft published game day one. Oh, and third-party games, now we're starting to get those games too. Day one, MLB The Show 21, day one on Game Pass. Why go spend $60? And the thing is, what I thought was crazy about Game Pass, not to veer too off the subject, Outriders was one of the first third-party games that hit it's multi-platform that hit on Game Pass day one, and it still was the third best-selling game in the MPD on Xbox, despite the fact that you could just play it on Game Pass.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Very
because
interesting.
what people forget about with Game Pass is it provides you discounts on the games that you download.
Right.
So you could actually buy them if you like them. You don't have to stay subscribed to Game Pass. You can get a discount and just buy the game.
To have that physical version or just a digital version?
I think it's a digital version.
Okay.
I haven't actually taken advantage of it. But because people worry, oh, well, they can always remove content. Yeah, you're right, they can, but they'll let you keep it for a discount. That's actually kind of a cool thing. So I think what's happening is Game Pass is proving it's not actually hurting game sales.
Well, and there is also the idea of you want more from this developer, so why not throw them some money here? Yeah, you could save yourself some money, and if you get it at a discounted price.
And stats came out last year that showed that even when people don't buy the games, revenue is actually up in those individual games because every game has DLC and microtransactions.
Yep.
So like people, I didn't spend $60 on this game, $70 this gen, the PlayStation 5. So like,
interesting.
Hey, we'll buy more microtransactions because we don't mind spending money on microtransactions now because I didn't invest a ton of money to get into the game. Which is how all these free-to-play games, Fortnite and everything else, make a bunch of money too. Because hey, you play it for free, you never have to spend money, but you want to look cool, spend money.
I do think that there is a possibility that Nintendo could do like some sort of subscription service beyond just a standard Nintendo Online. And I'm basically just alluding to legacy content like Virtual Console, because if you look at like the 3D All-Star situation. They created emulators for those games, and now they're going to be mysteriously missing. But I was actually looking at it earlier, and apparently they're still kind of marketing 64 Sunshine and Galaxy as being on the system, but not 3D All-Stars anymore. So the implication being that somehow they'll still be available someday.
Yep, probably for like $40 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, or maybe they are willing to have some sort of like subscription service where they actually have games that are upscaled to 1080p that are from their older systems.
Maybe. I mean, I think they could
beyond just the basic ones they have in Nintendo Online.
I think they could tie that in with the Switch Online service, to be honest.
Maybe.
Because they already have like the retro platforms, and technically they're quote unquote upscaled, but like right now we only have 8-bit and 16-bit systems, so like upscaled. Okay, yeah, it's not blurry on my TV. That's nice.
Yeah.
But like it's still, it's not widescreen. It's not, it's not what they did with the HD versions for 3D All-Stars. And I think that's one thing maybe that's one reason that Nintendo's a little hesitant with like making N64 just like normal N64 on there, that they just, quote unquote up-res like they did with Mario 64, because it's not going to really look that great on our TVs. So they like right now you can get away with 8-bit and 16-bit because it's going to look the same no matter what. But like once you go to the next ones, you gotta kind of go the extra mile, and I don't know if Nintendo wants to do that, but we'll see.
And if it looks blurry, it's just because it's 8-bit. It's just because it's 16-bit. Yeah, you can blame it on the graphics.
So yeah, this should be a big E3 for Nintendo. Like I thought maybe if they were at E3 this year, because we didn't know at the time when they did their last Nintendo Direct that they were going to be. We didn't know if there was going to be an E3 for sure. But then when Nintendo did that presentation, they ended with Splatoon 3, and I'm like, okay, so what about 2021?
Yeah, it was so strange. Like the whole second half's like, let's just talk about 2022 now instead of the most important part of this year. Yeah.
It's like, okay, then you must be at E3. That was my initial, you're at E3. Clearly E3's happening and you're there and you're about to blow your load there, because we have to have something to play besides Skyward Sword in the second half of the year. Like, Skyward Sword's great. I love it. It's in my top 5 Zelda games, but it's a Wii port.
Still an old Zelda game.
That's like saying, hey, we gave you 3D All-Stars and that's the only game you're going to play in the second half of the year. No, they gave us Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which, again, another port, but they at least gave us Age of Calamity, something new. So, there's got to be something. Don't know what. We know Pokemon, of course. We can't forget the Diamond and Pearl, but again, old games being remade. Where's the
It's also an outsourced game. It's not even being made directly by Game Freak.
Now, granted, if Pokemon Arceus turns out to be everything that people want it to be, it'll be worth it. Like, oh yeah, they gave it this other studio. It's not quite the remakes you want, but that's so they could make this. Okay.
Absolutely, but it just kind of begs the question, though, what do they have for 2021?
Yeah, besides the Pokemon, the Pokemon games, and again, Mario Golf Super Rush can't understate. Comes out after E3. They're gonna probably talk about it at E3. Looks great. I'm really excited for it. They have an RPG mode in it. Awesome. Been waiting for that since like the Game Boy Color days.
Yeah. Like
they went away from it when they used to have an RPG mode. Now they're bringing it back.
Favorite tennis game.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those. This is what we thought about Mario Tennis. This is what we thought about Super Mario Party. It looked fantastic. The demo for Mario Tennis, amazing. The gameplay is great. Oh, the single player, it looks promising. Then the game got here and it was kind of shallow. It was kind of empty a little bit. The gameplay is still great. The gameplay in Super Mario Party is great, but only 4 courses. You can't actually play the courses online with your friends, even though you keep advertising we have online, but then it's only select mini games. You can't actually play a board game online. How come Ubisoft has Uno, Monopoly, all these games that you could go online and play full board games against people, but you can't play Mario Party against, like, you could play Amiibo Festival against people online. Amiibo Festival on Wii U had better online multiplayer than Super Mario Party. Yeah. That's not right.
No.
That's not right.
There is some speculation there's another Mario Party maybe coming out this year.
They usually have multiple Mario Parties per system. So
there is even, I'm not saying this is like at all confirmation, but just kind of like, feeling the speculation. There's like that new Diddy Kong render, and people are wondering why did they update that Diddy Kong render? Maybe because they're making another Mario Party game or some other sort of Mario spinoff that has them.
Or they're putting it in Mario Party or Mario Kart 9.
Maybe. Actually, I wanted to point this out to you. I was digging through Samus Hunter, right? The leaker in question for the podcast. And this was on January 30th, because I was trying to figure out like the credibility of this person, right?
Yep.
And I'll just read this to you real quick, if that's all right.
Yep.
January is coming to an end. That means February is just around the corner. Next month will be full of new announcements. 2 main presentations are planned, one of which is dedicated to Pokemon. They'll have good insight into the coming months.
Yep.
Basically, he was just alluding to 2 presentations of Pokemon Presents and the Direct, which he later said he wasn't sure if it would be a Direct, but he was pretty close.
Yeah.
But later he said that
close after. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty close. He then later said this in that thread though. Should I screen share? Is that easier? Or just
you do what you want. You can screen share, sure. It'll be right
just
there
not
on camera.
Okay, let me see if I can.
I wish I could.
Or hopefully that shows up
And
there.
post it.
Is it showing up?
Oh.
Is it like a little, can you double click on it? Does it get bigger? No? Yeah, it just shows us like a little tiny thing for us.
There's a little tiny
Okay.
square down
Okay.
here in the
Yep.
corner of the screen.
It's okay. It's okay. I can edit it on after.
yeah,
the
well,
fact.
I'll
Yeah,
just
just
read
send me-
it. It's
just send me
fine.
the link
It's
after.
it's basic. Mario Kart 9 does not exist. After the team finished development of ARMS, they started working on new projects. It's possible that one of the prototypes was a new title in the series, but right now they are focused on something else. Those who talk about Mario Kart 9 are not true leakers. Interesting that he's saying that.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like the idea of
There's
them
not
working on new
really
IP,
any-
but
there's not really any legit info out there that Mario Kart 9 exists. It's mostly just people go, yeah, okay, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling a lot, but like it's also 7 years old. It's also not new to the system, and yeah, it's selling a lot. How well do you think a Mario Kart 9 is going to sell with 100 million Switches on the market?
right.
Remember, Nintendo said halfway through the life cycle, well,
Yeah.
then drop a Mario Kart 9. You could always 9 Deluxe it for the next system. But, again, Nintendo might just say, hey, it's our like number one, maybe number two behind Animal Crossing now, selling a game on the platform. You know, we're not going to care about Mario Kart right now. Maybe. Well, what's interesting about that, too, is that potentially that leaves Mario Kart 9 as a potential launch game for a next-gen system.
that's my perspective.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that, I mean, no one can argue that Mario Kart's a seller. So
Yeah.
that would be a huge launch game. Might even be bigger than Breath of the Wild was. So,
Here's another consideration. Sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt.
you're good.
Yeah. Like my perspective has been like Nintendo has a lot of these evergreen titles like with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So you have this team, this incredible team that made both ARMS and Mario Kart 8. They've been doing something since 2017. They could make another Mario Kart 9 and that will surely sell a whole bunch for sure. But they already have this evergreen title that's still selling Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What if they use this opportunity to put out and revive a franchise or create another franchise? And because of how healthy the Switch environment is, they are able to establish a new audience for another franchise that they can rely on moving forward. Like, what's a better investment? Getting guaranteed sales from Mario Kart 9 or getting a guaranteed other established franchise moving forward and then having both for the next generation?
Mario Kart, because there's no guarantee that that new IP is going to take off.
No, but my argument
But,
is that on Switch they have a better chance.
There's a really good argument to support the new IP. Shintaro Furukawa, of all people, recently spoke up at an interview with Nikkei in Japan, which Eric's like, what? Because he doesn't always follow all the news.
I've heard of the source.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So Shintaro Furukawa came out there and said, hey, we are like, I'm just paraphrasing here. Essentially, we're in the future for Nintendo. We're focusing on new IPs, not just on our stable. We're always going to have our stable, but we don't want to see what happens. Basically, he's building on the whole not wanting to fall off a cliff thing he said in the past. All the stuff I always said. We're so reliant on like these core IPs, like basically the Zelda, Mario, and Mario spin-offs to go with that, and then Pokemon. Like those are like the three pillars that Nintendo has been super reliant on over the years. Yes, they got a Kirby game every year, not a huge seller. Yes, they have Metroid, not a huge seller, not especially compared to all the other IPs I mentioned. Like their three main IPs are basically what carries Nintendo every single generation. And the thing is, he's like, that's never enough. It doesn't sustain us. We need more. And we're not going to get more if we don't make it. We need to make more new IPs. So here's the thing. They already added a fourth new staple because of new IPs on Wii U. Splatoon. Splatoon's huge. Splatoon 2 blew up. Splatoon 3 is probably going to blow up too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
now they got a fourth pillar. Obviously, Smash Bros. You could argue that was always potentially the fourth pillar, especially after Ultimate. Holy shit.
Yeah, right.
Well, we also got Animal Crossing that
Yeah,
has
Animal Crossing now.
all
Yeah.
new heights
Yeah.
now.
Like, yeah, okay. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, New Leaf got like 11 million. I'm sorry, 30 mil? Okay, Animal Crossing's now a pillar too. But again, those are all staple franchise. Awesome. Your staple franchises are more popular than ever. But what's next? What are you gonna have besides? Because how long? Like, what do we wait for Animal Crossing? Like 8 years for a new one? Something like that. It was
Yeah.
a long time from.
They might not wait that long this time though.
Well, here's the problem with Animal Crossing. It's a life simulator. It never ends. It's a never-ending game.
Good point.
So like that's why they waited. So like New Leaf sold incredible. It 11 million on 3DS. Why wouldn't you make another? Well, because it's a life simulator. You don't like Sims 4 has been around forever. You don't like replace life simulators that often. They tried that with Sims back in the day. They quickly went from Sims 1 to Sims 2 to Sims 3, and they saw sales just kept going down and down. Now because it's a life simulator, you don't need to replace. You could release new content for it. You can release DLC expansions, but like you don't need to have a brand new game every single time.
One per generation.
One new idea. Yeah, one per generation. Yeah.
I think the problem is that Wii U had Amiibo Festival instead, so that was kind of like.
Well, I don't think they counted that as an Animal Crossing game. I think that was kind of like, hey, we made that Mario Party game. Nobody bought it, so here's the Amiibo Festival. You guys like Animal Crossing, right? Here's the Amiibo Festival. Like, I think they were trying to justify their Amiibos as well.
Oh yeah, for
at
sure.
the time because they kept talking. I remember when Amiibo came out, they kept talking like, I got an Amiibo on the desk. I got the Banjo-Kazooie one, and like I remember them talking about how Amiibo's gonna have all this functionality in all these games, and they tried a few things. People didn't like that functionality. They just wanted collectibles. And I don't know why it took Nintendo so long to realize people just want to collect shit.
Right.
You don't have to like make it like here's the thing. The Mario Lego set's cool. And they got the Luigi one out now. Great. I'm telling you right now, I don't own the Mario set, but I have used the Mario Lego set. It's like this really neat thing one time. Then it's not really fun anymore. Because you're not really doing anything. So it's different than other Lego sets, but like Lego Technic's way better in terms of interactivity. Why do people? I think Nintendo kind of missed the boat with the Legos, even though they're selling incredibly well, of course. No doubt about that. Oh, yeah. It's a major IP with Lego. Yeah. Always sells incredibly well. Like I think Lego came out and said it's like their best new selling Lego sets like in the history of the company for like the last 20 years. I believe it.
Oh yeah.
I mean Mario's that big. I believe it. But it's also one of those situations where it's like they could have just released normal Mario Lego figures with normal Mario play sets, and it would have sold just as well. Because the point of Lego is to use your imagination. And the problem I have with that Mario Lego set, it takes the imagination out of it. Touch your character here to collect a coin. Touch here to stomp on their head. And it's like, okay. You're telling me what to do now. I'm not using my imagination anymore. You're literally doing it. And so like that's the one thing I feel like they missed out on what Lego is. Now, that doesn't mean that's what it's always going to be in the future. I'm waiting for Zelda Lego sets to drop and stuff like that. I'm sure they're probably going to end up doing the same thing they did with Mario. Something unique, some giant 8-bit Link character, which I'm going to end up buying because I'm a sucker for everything Zelda.
Yeah, you are.
But it'll become part of the podcast set, probably permanently. Yeah. Eric and I will be sitting here playing it against each other throughout the whole cast as Andre's sitting there. Hi, I'm sorry, I've been talking for a half hour. It's okay. We've been playing Zelda Legos over here.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry about it. So speaking of the E3 stuff, obviously we've been bringing up Samus Hunter a lot because, guys, he's already gotten a couple things correct. We mentioned it before. He got the Ace Attorney stuff. If you're not aware, there's an Ace Attorney collection coming out now on everything. Capcom announced. And then he got the new game trial for Nintendo Switch Online. He was right on that. But he talked about other things, how we're going to get Mario Golf Super Rush news before E3, which I always thought was interesting since the game comes after E3. But it could be that Nintendo's clearing that game out for E3. Like, we'll have it at E3. We'll have Nintendo Treehouse play it, but...
Or is it just going to say, like, a quick... We'll have a demo.
It could be a trailer.
We'll have a demo coming out at E3, and then that's all you hear for it.
I have no idea. Yeah. Like it could just be a trailer. Could be commercials. I have no idea. It's just going to be some sort of news about Mario Golf Super Rush. And again, I think possibly it's because they're not going to mention it at E3. I think they know whatever else they have to show off, like possibly a Breath of the Wild 2, is going to overshadow this game anyways. So why not give it its own advertising window before we get the bigger news? I don't like they did with Skyward Sword. They could have waited for E3 to talk about Skyward Sword.
Right.
But if they know they're talking about Breath of the Wild 2 there, it's kind of like, nah, Skyward Sword HD needs its own cycle.
Right. And like you said, I could see Treehouse playing it, but...
Oh, yeah, Treehouse would play it,
but sure. to see it actually...
Maybe there's even a demo during E3 for everyone.
And that's kind
Mario
of Mario
Tennis, they had demos for Republic, so time demos during E3.
But to actually see it in the run of
God,
E3...
that would mess up our live streams.
Right, yeah, right.
Dang it!
To actually see
Do it, though.
in the
Please
run
do it.
in the run of E3 content, yeah, probably not. It would make sense that they would just say, like a couple days before E3,
Yeah,
here's
I don't know
here's
if
a
there's-
demo.
Here's my thing. I don't
Available
know if
here.
there's going to be a lot of new news for Mario Golf Super Rush at E3 beyond possibly a demo.
All right.
I think any of the major news. One, I think we already know most of the major news. They unveiled like game modes and everything.
Yeah, right.
So I think whatever new stuff they have, I don't care if they show it before. Let it have its own news cycle before we get into the bigger stuff. Because beyond Nintendo, there's all this other news going on. Like everything's fighting for attention during E3. Mario
Right.
Golf will probably get lost in the shuffle. So giving it its own couple-day news cycle, I think would make sense. Plus, obviously, there's probably going to be Nintendo Treehouse throughout E3. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Nintendo does the normal Treehouse thing, where they have literally live streams throughout all of E3 on their own channels for Treehouse. I find that interesting because obviously this is an event where everything comes together, and Nintendo's like, if you're a Nintendo fan, ignore everyone else. Just come watch us.
Hey.
But technically, they usually do that after all the major conferences. But here's the problem: the show is basically nothing but conferences for 4 days.
Right.
Maybe because supposedly there's going to be 8 hours of stuff. I can't imagine there's 4 days of 8 hours. Maybe what happens is Nintendo gets a whole day,
Yeah.
Microsoft gets a whole day, and the other companies share the other 2 days. I have no
Possible.
idea.
I'm actually curious what you think here, because I believe, if I remember correctly, the dates are 12 through 15, right? And that starts on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's a weird start.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure if Nintendo usually does things during the week. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they wait till like Monday to actually start doing their thing.
Well, they've
or
always
maybe
gone
they do it
on-
like right
They've always
before.
gone on day. So E3 itself has always been like a 3-day event. The in-person stuff. But the press conferences have also always been a 3-day event, starting 2 days before E3. Nintendo would always go the first day of E3 opening. They would basically be like, we're going right in the morning, and we're kicking off E3 opening its doors. And that was always a really cool thing. Nintendo's been doing that for years. They've been kicking off the opening, but that also meant Nintendo always went last after everybody, which is why they always started on day 3 of the press conferences. Hence, it could be on Monday. But I think it's different this year. Because at least from what we saw, the preliminary plans before E3 was officially back, we heard was that there was like these 2-hour time slots reserved on the first couple of days for platform holders. Well, I mean, that's Microsoft and Nintendo. Microsoft is probably going to want to go first because that's just what Phil Spencer wants to do, and Nintendo's not going to care when they go.
No.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, May 6th is supposedly, as we're going to get into in a moment, when we're going to start hearing when Nintendo's going to tell us when to look forward to stuff, what potential stuff's going to be happening. And like, they're not going to give us game announcements, guys, May 6th. They're potentially what they do, because May 9th in 2019, even if it's not May 6th, it's going to be early in May. Nintendo always lets you know roughly a month ahead of time when to take off work, when to schedule your time to watch Nintendo stuff. Here's when Treehouse is happening. Here's any tournaments or anything else we have surrounding E3. Here's our main presentation. Plan accordingly. They always let you know about a month ahead of time. And then from that moment forward, that's the rumor city. So like we already know when Square Enix is happening. Microsoft hasn't given their time yet. But it doesn't matter. We're literally within the next 3 weeks, guys. We're probably going to know when every single thing's happening for E3. Moving on, like PC Gaming Show, by the way, is happening during E3. So I don't know if they're going to get featured with the ESA or if they're going to try to do their own event while E3 is going on, which I think would be really stupid. But then they do that every single year. The PC Gaming Show needs to find a way to work with the ESA to not treat PC gaming as like this separate thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, we got this 3-hour event happening in the middle of E3 whenever other people are doing things. It's like, come on, PC Gaming Show. Like, I don't care. 3 hours long, fine. Do your long thing. I don't care. But, like, this is a perfect year to be involved. There is no show floor.
Yeah.
They could use a 3-hour window for PC Gaming Show, to be completely honest.
Is Digital Devolver and their wackiness going to be there?
I hope Digital Devolver's involved.
Oh, I love
Please, Digital Devolver.
conferences.
Okay, guys, they have the most consistent show every year. Well, if you just want to be entertained, you don't even have to like the games. They're the most entertaining presentation every year. It's awesome. It's literally like a mini movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. And it makes you laugh.
Oh,
They're really
sure.
comedic. So anyways, getting into Samus Hunter here, who we... At this point, I mean, they've been right on. Like I said, go back in their Twitter history. They've been right on a lot of stuff. In fact, Samus Hunter, maybe somewhat cockily, has their pinned comment as, "Here's all the shit I got right," and it doesn't even have everything. It doesn't. Like he was right about indie. He was right about the Indie World Showcase. That's not on there. Like this, so he hasn't updated it. Since like February or something. I can't remember, but maybe
too much to show off.
What?
It's too much to show off.
Yeah, too much. He's got too much right to show off. He's like, guys, I'm legit. I don't
too
know why
long
people
for a
still doubt
pinned tweet. Too many characters for a pinned tweet.
So we're supposed to get Miitopia news, which not surprised. Well, it is kind of surprising that they're going to say there's going to be a demo announced before E3 But again, Miitopia to me is one of those games that's going to
It comes out in May, so like it's got to everything's
coming
got
out
to be done
before
with
E3,
Yeah.
and you can't wait till E3 to talk about a demo. Miitopia would get buried. No one's gonna Nintendo does that sometimes. They'll talk about a game that just came out at E3, and it's like, no. We already know that game. It's already out. We already decided if we want to buy it.
Yeah.
So Miitopia, not a surprise there. I mean, a demo. I guess I shouldn't really. Nintendo's been more apt to do demos lately, on Switch specifically. So even if it's just a time demo, which I hate when they do these time demos. It is kind of nice in some regards with like a Mario Tennis. I suppose I understand that more because then you gather the online community together at one time to play. Plus, you can push your servers, so it's a good server test.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I understand that. But like some games when they do timed ones, I don't always understand it. But Miitopia, supposedly news on that with he said he doesn't say for sure a demo, likely a demo. When he's really sure on something, he's really sure there'll be Miitopia news, he's pretty sure there'll be a demo. One thing you'll notice with Samus Hunter is he lets you know when the information he has isn't like set in stone kind of thing. It's like, he's heard them talk about it, but, I'm not for sure saying it. Animal Crossing New Horizons, he says we're going to have an update on that before. I mean, we get updates.
Shocker.
Yeah. I mean, anyone could, this isn't me trying to knock him. I'm sure it's true. Because we always get Animal Crossing New Horizons updates. So.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise 2.0 update apparently is going to happen before E3, or at least we're going to hear about it. Obviously, we talked about the new game trial and the Ace Attorney games. That's already been confirmed. Pokemon stuff, which doesn't surprise me. Pokemon doesn't care about E3.
They usually have assuming it's a normal year, they usually do something like right before E3, and then Nintendo just mentions it during the Direct, and then they have Treehouse footage. Yeah, then they have Treehouse footage. It's a standard fare.
The Pokemon Company doesn't specifically... Like, we played Pokemon games, with the Let's Go games, and we played Sword and Shield at E3. But it's but those weren't made like a big deal of at E3. They were just present. Treehouse played it because everything was said before E3. Like the Pokemon Company again runs to the beat of their own drum. They want all the attention on them when they talk about their stuff. They don't want to be mixed in with others. So them doing some big reveals for Pokemon Arceus Legends, for the Diamond and Pearl stuff. Obviously, I presume we're getting news on new Pokemon Snap before new Pokemon Snap comes out. At least a launch trailer. So
we've been getting trailers and
we have been. They've been trickling
over the last few days. Yeah.
So like you could argue because of those trailers that we've already got news, but I think everyone knows. No, we're gonna get like some sort of another presentation from the Pokemon Company. So, I mean, again, history.
That Pokemon presentation could have DLC for Snap by that point, right? Because let's say it happens like the first week of June or last week of May. The game will have been out for about a month, right? It's a game that makes sense to have DLC. Exactly. A whole other island for sure.
That's what's great about Snap is that now that we're in an age of updates and DLC, like they can keep that game going a long time. Keep lots of different DLC. I mean, God.
At least one season pass I see happening.
There's
at least
1,000 Pokemon, guys. They could.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was ever a game to try to put all the Pokemon again.
Yeah.
Snap, over time, not all at once. Yeah. All right. Next up is really cool. There's going to be something revealed for... This is the one that you're like, oh, okay. This is almost like... The rest of the stuff you could be like, okay, it's kind of expected, right? This is one where it's like, wait, really? Something for Zelda revealed that isn't directly related to Breath of the Wild 2 before E3. And it's revealed, about this. So it can't be like Skyward Sword HD news. That's already been revealed. So like, what don't they want to like? I presume this is because Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be at E3. So whatever they're going to show is going to get buried by that. So, like, is this where we get Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD that Jeff Grubb said we're supposed to be getting
Is
announced?
this where we see the
Like, I can see that being a Twitter announcement if they do, if they're not going to do a big 35th blowout and they're just going to trickle Zelda stuff all year. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, they could literally Twitter announce that. There is a later rumor in here about Spirit Tracks, which I think is bullshit.
Yeah. But
tinfoil hat. Where did I put my tinfoil hat?
Yeah. That is what they like. I'm looking at that part where you're alluding to. They say, but I have something extra. Ellipses. The train will make at least one more step before reaching the end. It's kind of like a double meaning. Mm-hmm. One is hinting Spirit Tracks, but also one more thing before the big show, which is the direct. It's interesting because I've like I told you, I was kind of looking through everything this guy's been saying over the last few months, and one thing that they've alluded to is that initially the Mario Anniversary Direct was supposed to happen in April, according to Samus Hunter.
Okay.
And if that's was actually meant to be the case, it kind of makes sense because Paper Mario: The Origami King was announced in May, which was strange, right? Like, because we initially thought maybe it was going to happen at E3.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe initially it was all going to happen in April. That's when Paper Mario would have been announced. And so if that's the case, actually, like let's hypothetically, we don't know if that's actually true, but if it was, then that would suggest that Nintendo might want to do something similar where they announce the Zelda anniversary plans in April, but they save like the big focus of Breath of the Wild until E3. Maybe they give us like a little teaser at the end of this Zelda Direct for April.
Oh yeah, then they pull out the tune game in for more. Mm-hmm. On this day. Yeah.
Maybe
they have done stuff like that before. That would be interesting. And that gets into another thing where Nintendo had a trademark for Ocarina of Time. For those that wonder, it's all speculation at this point what that trademark means. It could be nothing. But it's a separate trademark from the N64 version and the 3DS version, which makes people think, oh, then there's going to be a Switch version, some sort of remake or whatever. We'll see. Grezzel's probably working on something. They did do the 3D version. They did do Miitopia. They obviously remade Link's Awakening. That's like the big thing. Hey, the last Zelda remake we got was them. A full-on remake of Link's Awakening, and they just called it Link's Awakening. It wasn't Link's Awakening HD, wasn't Link's Awakening Remastered or Remake. It was just called Link's Awakening. So, it could just call it just Ocarina of Time, and here you go. It's literally like rebuilt, the game's reborn on Switch. That's people are hoping that as well. I'm just saying that we don't know that to be the case. It's speculation. I don't know that I expect it, but technically, that's from Nintendo. Like, that's something factually, something. It might just be merchandise. I have no idea, but something is happening, or at least something they've thought about that they wanted to trademark it. Doesn't mean it's even happening this year. Like, if they're rebuilding from the ground up, it could be a while. It might not be this year. It could be a couple of years because that's
actually something I want to touch on.
Yeah.
No, just that because we're talking about something that I think you and I are sort of on the same page here, where we kind of think this person is likely has legitimate sources, right? Each person says something is happening, that doesn't mean it's going to happen like immediately. Like, take for example when Eiji Onuma teased Skyward Sword HD. That was years ago.
Yeah,
we only got an official announcement this year. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that when it comes to like potentially getting legitimate information before it's actually announced, we don't know the timeline of that at all. No, it could be 2 to 3, 4 years. For example, Minecraft Steve was in discussion since 2014 for Smash Brothers. So it.
Yeah, I think what happens is
something's good. You got to be patient.
Yeah, I think what happens is we got that Mario 35th anniversary, and they just piled a bunch of games. So people think it's happening again with Zelda. So anytime you hear something Zelda, you're like, oh, 35th anniversary. There's going to be stuff happening beyond the 35th anniversary. Like, Nintendo's not just planning every Zelda thing they have possibly under their roof to happen now. Like, they're going to have a new game next year because they've had a Zelda something, a remake, a port, a new something. It's happened every single year for almost a decade straight at Nintendo. Like, I don't know if you have noticed, but that's what's been happening with Zelda. Every year, something new or a re-release or a remake or spin-off happens every year.
For some perspective, do you remember before Age of Calamity was announced, the speculation amongst a lot of circles was that the Cadence of Hyrule physical release with the DLC, people were thinking that was going to be like the Zelda release for the year, which never sat well with me. That they would have
it was just re-releasing a game already on the platform.
Yeah,
and Cadence of Hyrule was the Zelda game already for a year.
Correct. They came out with Link's Awakening in 2019, right? Like that was the same year. So what they do? They gave us Age of Calamity. So it just kind of,
because Age of Calamity's lid was kept under. I don't know how they did that. Third party company. Nobody knows that game's coming.
All I knew is that Nintendo was going to have like one big holiday game.
Oh, they had to.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, nobody.
It had to be something. And that was it.
Yeah, because some people are like, oh, maybe it won't be that. Maybe they'll just maybe it's just 3D All Stars and they're going to bundle it or something for the holidays. It's like they could, but
that just didn't. It's the same thing. Like people were arguing it was going to be 3D All Stars, but from what we knew of 3D All Stars, that just didn't fit the bill for a holiday game. It didn't
really fit that's going to be a big holiday. Like, okay, Pokemon remakes, I can understand those being the big holiday because Pokemon is just another level, but they had the DLC coming.
But you mean for next year, for this year?
Even when we've had Pokemon remakes, that's usually not the only big title that comes out for the holiday.
It's outsourced. It's cheapy. I don't see Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl being the big holiday game.
Well, it's going to sell.
Yeah. It's going to sell well, but they need more than that is the point.
Well, and as I said, even when Pokemon games come, that's never the only holiday game Nintendo has. It's kind of weird. Pokemon basically operates outside of Nintendo, and they don't care if they release Pokemon and a big Mario game together in the same month. They don't care. It always sells. Pokemon has never hurt the sales of other Nintendo games, and other Nintendo games have never hurt the sales of Pokemon. I don't know how.
Great example.
But they don't hurt
2018. No. Yeah, like in 2018, we got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in November. Those games went to sell 10 plus million, right? Mm-hmm. And then Smash Ultimate came out weeks later in December and is 20 plus million as well.
Oh, it's a mistake to re-Smash Ultimate after. What a mistake, huh? Best-selling fighting game of all time, 20 plus million. I'm pretty sure they knew what they were doing. Thing. They were just trying to give a smidge of breathing room. Mm-hmm. But not they're basically saying, look, they wanted to give people another paycheck cycle, all right?
Right.
So they could actually buy Smash.
Yeah.
Anyways, plus
even 2017 had in 2017 on 3DS Sun and Moon came out in November, but Odyssey came out October, and then Xenoblade 2 came out December. Yeah. So
they'll pack it.
That that's the time to pack it. That is the time
to pack.
Yeah. Especially if we do get a Switch revision this year.
What?
If we get a Switch revision for the holiday, they're gonna want to support that with software.
What's interesting about Nintendo with Switch, they've actually been spreading their software out throughout the year and proving it could sell at any time, and I like that.
Yeah.
As a gamer, I like that. It gives you that's because now there's speculation that Splatoon 2 is going to be early 2022, which is but so is Pokemon Arceus. Holy shit, are we getting?
I wanted to ask you that. So because I think we're on the same track here. Because Legends Arceus to me reads March 2022. They say early 2022, right? So if that's
around
the case,
the time we've seen other Pokemon games come out too early in the year.
If it's not November, right? That makes sense. And then if Splatoon 3
wasn't that when Black and White 2 came out? Remember that was a big deal because they had just launched 3DS. They just launched 3DS and then they launched DS Pokemon games at around the same time.
Because I think they were still trying to figure out global release dates. So around the time they were kind of getting on pace for that. Black and White was September apparently.
No, Black and White 2.
Oh, Black and White 2. Oh, okay. Yeah. June.
That was
June.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that weird too? It was a June release while 3DS was out, but it was a DS game. I get 3DS is backwards compatible, but
strange.
Yeah,
strange.
It was really weird.
But I guess the question I'm trying to throw at you here, right, is that if Splatoon 3 is actually going to have a tournament this summer, they announced it early this year. It looks very far along. So it's suggestive that the game probably will be coming out the first half of 2022, maybe early. And then we have Legends Arceus potentially being positioned as a March game. Where does that position Breath of the Wild 2, where a lot of people have been saying, oh, this is the March game? I've been on the side of, I think it's coming out for this holiday. But I'm just kind of curious what you think.
I've always said it's coming out this holiday. People always be like, no, it's not. We would have heard more about it. I'm like, would we have really heard more about it? Think about
would they have scheduled Skyward Sword for the summer if that was the case?
Think about Breath of the Wild, right? They didn't talk about it for basically 2 years because it had been delayed, this and that, go over to Switch, whatever. We heard little tidbits, but we weren't really seeing the game. E3 2016 comes around, and I'm telling you, if Switch would have came out that holiday, Breath of the Wild would have still came out on Switch that holiday, and it would have been the same run-up they could do this year from E3
Correct.
to holiday.
Yeah.
The only reason it was E3 to March is because Switch wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'm trying to remember, like, there was, I forget who it was at the time. Was it Kimishima? That they were asking.
Yep.
They were asking about why the Switch didn't come out for the hall, and they said they wanted to prepare software at the time.
Yeah,
but I think the thing
they
was,
weren't confident Switch was going to sell, so they wanted to make sure they had like 9 months of just their best.
They wanted to prepare, but I think the thing where people will get kind of confused, it's not so much that Breath of the Wild wasn't ready.
Oh, no.
It's that they wanted to make make sure the Switch version of Breath of the Wild was ready. Like if they were just going to do Wii U, it would have been out holiday 2016.
So people, I don't know if they'd remember this or even know, when Breath of the Wild launched on Switch and Wii U at the same time, of course, dual release, the Wii U version ran better. It just factually ran better.
Well,
you go to
have enough time to
on
optimize.
Switch and you're getting 12 FPS. You're getting lock 30 on Wii U. What the hell?
Oh, it was designed for the Wii U.
Yeah. And that was kind of the thing. They did patch it over time, and I think performance is pretty close now. But it's still one of those things that I'm not even sure that Breath of the Wild is really why the system was delayed. I say this because I feel like, at least this has never been proven to be true. This has just been my speculation.
Sure.
Mario Odyssey was ready day one, and they saved it for holiday.
It was done by the beginning of the year, if I remember them reporting.
I'm pretty sure they could have
then.
launched it on, like, if they wanted, they could have launched it holiday. With
Maybe.
But there's also a few things we have to consider. One, Switch might not have had enough units done and manufactured yet to even launch for holiday. So because you got to remember, they cut Wii U short. That might not have been the plan literally until 2016. They might not have planned to stop making Wii U until then. So like they might not have thought they needed Switch for that holiday. So they might not have ramped up production in time to get it out. That's one thing. Another thing is that I also think if you look at the games that released from Zelda to Mario, you know, the Splatoons and Xenoblades and all that.
Best year ever, in my opinion.
Perfect example. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did not seem finished when it came out.
No.
And that's the kind of game, and maybe even Splatoon 2, that was kind of like, you know what? We need to make sure if we're going to launch with Zelda, holiday it with Mario, we need the solid lineup in between, or people are not going to care about Switch in between. And I was wondering if those are the games that maybe like we're not done, we need to push them, we need to delay, give them a few more months.
Point.
Now, granted, this is year one. I think Nintendo now wouldn't release Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as an example in the state that 2 was in. I think that was just more of a, they weren't sure that Switch, they thought they needed to put everything out.
They went all out.
Yeah,
that was the best
year
year
everything
ever.
we got out and hope people care. And they did. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did end up selling well. They obviously patched it, all that jazz. And the Torna DLC, fantastic. That's like what the original game should have been.
Yeah, I'm excited for Xenoblade 3 whenever that, which is actually another thing, right? Because we're talking about what games could happen, right? Another internal team, Monolith Soft. Xenoblade 2 was 2017. They had Definitive Edition, but that was just a remaster, and they have several studios.
Yeah, so
they're going to have something soon.
One interesting thing, obviously, you know, so you talked about the Splatoon 3 tournament. For those who didn't see the video on it or the news on it, basically, Samus Hunter has said this isn't locked in because of COVID. He said this is what Nintendo is trying to do, but obviously COVID really complicates things with any sort of tournament. They have done tournaments during COVID, but those were like public. Those weren't like a big E3 event. Basically, what he said is there's going to be a Smash Ultimate tournament, or they want to do a Smash Ultimate tournament. Don't really know what that entails. Don't really know if it's just like a pre-planned, pre-recorded thing they've done behind the scenes, and then they just present it to us. You know, because they Smash Ultimate does play online. And for Splatoon 3, people are like, how could they do Splatoon 3? It's just supposed to be Nintendo Treehouse, apparently. At least that's what he's hinting at. He's not sure, but he basically said, as for people doubting Splatoon 3, it could just be Treehouse playing it, which, I mean, yeah. Now, people might not know this, but like, it wouldn't be odd for them to bring in people playing Splatoon 3, like professional Splatoon 2 players, before Splatoon 3
Right.
it comes out. They did that with Splatoon 2. They brought in professional Splatoon players before Splatoon 2 came out to advertise the game and do like a little gameplay showcase of a
Right.
game they have never played.
It's really not that hard.
The issue is COVID, though.
It's COVID, yeah.
Right.
That's why I think Treehouse, they could pull it off with Treehouse. If they have the employees vaccinated and they're willing to be in the same building, because they're going to want to showcase it in the best possible light. They're not going to want to do online with a game that's still in development. So if they could do in person and have, say 8 people from Treehouse together, which I think if Nintendo's doing E3 and they are doing Treehouse, I know some people have the thought process that everything Nintendo does might be pre-recorded, right? The Treehouse section could be pre-recorded. I'm actually starting to think that I don't know that the Treehouse section is going to be pre-recorded. I think they're going to keep the spirit of Treehouse Live going, and it's actually going to be this live thing they're doing at Nintendo's headquarters.
I'm down.
Like yes, they're absolutely their showcase, their direct, their digital event. That's gonna be pre-recorded. That's been pre-recorded for years. But I think they might keep that Treehouse Live. There'll be pre-recorded segments in the Treehouse Live, like developer interviews. I have a suspicion a lot of that might be pre-recorded. But when I think they're gonna do live gameplay demos, just like they do at E3. So I think that they're going to keep that spirit alive, because there's something nice about that, because they always respond once in a while to the chat to let you kind of know, hey, look, we do have somebody behind the scenes paying attention to what people are saying, how they're reacting.
Proof we are live.
Proof that we are real and not robots, and that we care. Well, care about the audience. Who really knows how much they really care? But they have to act like they care anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were 2 things he said that we might get for E3, along with, he said, obviously the presentation and Treehouse Live. He basically said the Treehouse Live, or Nintendo Treehouse in general, I guess he didn't say Treehouse Live, but he said Treehouse events and a digital direct presentation will happen. Like those are happening. But the tournaments are kind of a, hey, Nintendo's talking, don't know 100% sure if it's locked in, but we'll find out for sure. He says May 6th. So, again, happened May 9th in 2019. So it's not, the big thing is he was pretty definitive about finding out on May 6th. So it's like, oh, if it's on May 7th, is he suddenly debunked? Even if he has the tournaments right? People are always going to find a reason to doubt these people.
Right.
Nintendo, like, the fact that he put May 6th out there means Nintendo could just fuck with you guys and do it on May 5th.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Now, there is some thought, because Samus Hunter's been right on a lot of things, that what if he's like one of those intentional leakers? Mm-hmm. Like if companies are putting him out there to try to build hype.
Yeah.
But I also think if he was an intentional leaker, this is just my humble opinion, I think intentional leakers, or things that Nintendo floats out there intentionally, but any company floats out there potentially behind the scenes to just gauge consumer interest or whatever they're doing. I often feel like if that was the case, bigger outlets would be talking about it. Nobody's talking about Samus Hunter. If you go and look, like I've seen like my video, HMK. I think you said you were working on one. I don't know if you got that out today or not. But like
it's hopping tomorrow.
Yeah, but like there hasn't been a lot of videos on this. Like IGN's not picking it up. I don't see Nintendo Life talking about it. Like nobody's talking about it. So I feel like if this was intentionally being leaked, there would be like a wink wink, to get IGN to cover the leaker, or to not just to get some, like I covered it because I found out about it from HMK. HMK covered it because he already was following Samus Hunter. So like it's one of those situations where I don't know that this is intentionally being leaked out there. I think this person, based on their track record, pretty much haven't been incorrect about anything that we can verify at the moment anyways. We now have this stuff, so if this stuff's incorrect, we can now verify it. He can go back and delete tweets, but we already have the information, already made the videos. So now we know, if he's just deleting the stuff that's not true or not. Couldn't track that before, now we can.
The Ace Attorney thing and the game trial thing, at least that's like
that
immediate
happened. That
sort
literally
of credibility.
happened. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And by the way, the thing I want to bring up that I didn't mention in the video, because I might be making a video on this tomorrow, but you know what? We'll talk about it here on the podcast briefly. He said a while ago, I think back in February, I have to check the exact date of the tweet because he just brought it back up. I didn't notice it. Somehow I missed it when I was going through his Twitter. He talked about 3 games coming later this year, 2 of them being Kirby games.
Yeah.
Which a new Kirby game isn't surprising. 2 of them, okay. Well, I mean, it could be Kirby Pinball or whatever. But like, there's a Kirby game every year. So, okay, Kirby games, Even though like last year was some weird multiplayer thing that like people played for like 5 minutes. So they do this weird thing with Kirby. It's like we have to hit our Kirby quota this year. Get this piece of shit demo thing we worked on behind the scenes out the door.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, sure. Anyway, so some sort of Kirby game or two of them, and then he said a third game, which the reason he brought it back up is because now that basically what's happening is he's starting to get traction, right? Samus Hunter's stuff is starting to get noticed. Now that people like me and HMK and others have covered it, it's bringing it to light to other people who are going back now, like Andre, looking through his stuff and realizing, holy shit, this guy's actually gotten quite a lot of stuff right. Why did this fly under the radar for so long? So now other people are slowly having conversations about it. So they're going through his tweets and they're being like, hey, here's this thing he talked about that hasn't happened yet. And people thought that meant there was a third Kirby game coming. And so he brought it back up himself and said, I never said, like, read the tweet. It's not a Kirby game. That third game isn't a Kirby game. Just because I mentioned Kirby for the other two, the third one's not.
Yeah.
It's something new. It's like, okay. I mean,
it's probably something small too, just a niche game thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, Hal did like this like alien UFO thing a while ago. Like, it's probably something like that, I bet.
Also, screw Breath of the Wild 2. I don't need that at E3. What I need, Sports Story. Nintendo. I know you're working with this company. You paid for them to make Golf Story. Come on. What's happening with Sports Story? It's happening. Come on, Nintendo. I need my sequel. Anyways, Nintendo's the other one making it, but I know they're publishing. So, that being said, the other couple other rumors that we had spinning around, I think a lot of people have been presuming for a while that we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2, but Kelios FR apparently somewhere. I couldn't really find it.
It's hard to translate everything.
Yeah, because it's French, so you literally have to translate every tweet. Sometimes the translations aren't perfect. I was able to confirm one thing that did come from Kelios FR, and that was the supposed Smash character E3 thing that is hinted at by Kelios FR, and he kind of hints that it's going to be a Zelda character reveal, which, I mean, I guess that ties in the 35th anniversary. I don't know if people are super excited about Zelda, but is it a champion? Is it, it's Zelda.
There's a few options.
There's options. I mean, I personally want it to be Tingle, just because I love Tingle, and the internet would be pissed.
Impa?
And I can't wait.
I've been writing on Impa. Yeah.
Impa's
just because she's like a character that's recurring throughout the series.
Yeah. But I'm hoping for Tingle. Hoping for Tingle. I might have to make a whole podcast. I should make a whole video why Tingle should be in Smash.
Yes, there you go.
Tingle should be in Smash. I agree with that.
I gotta dress up like Tingle for it and everything.
No, I could see him.
I'm the right age. He's in his mid-30s.
I could see them releasing like a Tingle costume for like Toon Link.
Gotta get some red balloons. I got some helium in the garage, so I can have a floating red balloon. It's perfect.
There you go. There's your Halloween.
Perfect.
You talk about how you're. Yeah,
it's happening. I'm
your Halloween costume.
There's my Halloween. That's what I went for E3.
Yeah, right.
The whole time, Tingle and Smash. Actually, fun fact.
Make sure to walk around saying you're waiting for your fairy, and your dad disowned you because of it.
Okay, so anyways, so I was able to confirm Kelios FR did say that. So again, we talked about how that the track record with this person is not 100%. So, take it with a grain of salt. But hey, you should always take rumors with a grain of salt until they're announced.
Yeah. My perspective of Kelios is pretty reliable, though. I think there's a language barrier. I think what happens is that they get information and then they might make assumptions on that information.
Yeah.
Or their assumptions. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think where the issue kind of lies. Like I remember with the partner mini directs, like they said it was a direct. So people got super excited and they were 100% right about the timing and the day and all of that. And it was like a weird Sunday night. It was true. It just wasn't quite what we expected.
Yeah. The partner showcases they did or whatever.
Yeah.
It was really weird too, because like the first one they called it a direct, and it's like, no. This is not a direct.
They learned
like,
pretty
do
quickly
not
that they did
take
not
the
call
direct
it a direct
name with what is basically an indie world for third-party games. No.
Yeah.
Anyways, so apparently Kelios FR somewhere said that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have a major presence at E3 2021. I think
need to find that.
That's probably. I haven't been able to find it. I think, regardless, it's a pretty safe bet.
Would not surprise me one bit.
I mean, here's the thing. Setting the speculation and rumors aside, AGI Anomaly literally said we're hearing about the game later this year.
Yeah.
What better time?
I mean, why wouldn't you do it at E3? If you do it towards the end of the year, I can understand as well. Like, The Game Awards could be another nice place to show something because that happens after all the big games come out. Tease people for.
I bet we see Metroid then. Actually,
Bayonetta 3.
Yeah,
maybe
They unveiled it at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's obviously just speculation out there. But Breath of the Wild 2 having a presence. Zelda's 35th anniversary makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, they've done like a Breath of the Wild themed E3 before. Seemed to go over pretty well for Nintendo. So kind of making this like one of the big games. What? One game, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Who thought a platform holder that's, by the way, at the time, stop making the platform that the game they're showing off is being played on at E3. Who knew that one game could win E3 for a platform holder? And that's all they had to show. That's all they talked about.
A failing platform holder at the time.
Treehouse, they did talk about a few third-party games, and they went into some indie games and stuff. But from Nintendo, that was it. They were just showing that off. They didn't really even talk about Paper Mario Color Rush. It was just Zelda. Like, every day you turn on Treehouse, 5 hours of Zelda.
It was great.
Watching them all die to Step Talus at the time.
Yep.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of deaths to Step Talus.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. Not me.
Yeah.
I beat him up.
Yeah. I will say that is the one kind of thing I don't miss about E3 is the random people that aren't helpful with like filming stuff.
Oh my
every once in a
God.
while. A lot of them are great.
Yeah.
But you get
E3
some of these that are just like, I am better than that. I'm not going to touch your stuff.
We were there as media, okay? And back then, I worked at Zelda Informer, which is a traditional news website. So we didn't have like camera equipment, right? We weren't really doing much video content. So but obviously, this is the big Zelda game. We're actually at E3. We want
have
footage.
Zelda Informer shirts on.
We have media badges,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, we don't have camera equipment. We're just using our phones, okay? Which felt weird, but that's what we had, okay? And so I looked to the Nintendo rep for the demo because God, we were playing the demo. Like,
we played it
9 times, 10 times.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Yeah.
We just
Wow.
kept getting back in line.
Oh yeah.
And then we even had like a media session just to play the demo again.
Oh yeah.
And that was a really fun media session. I got a contact at Golan Harris that didn't really matter because he ended up not working at Golan Harris like 6 months later. But the thing was, we asked one of their booth babes. Let's just call it a booth babe. That's what it was. There are people they hired that are pretty and specifically just there to show off the demo. They don't really work for Nintendo. They're just hired for the event. They're showed enough and they're showed what to tell people to do. And it was a lady, and I said, hey, will you record my entire play session of this demo? I know you got to have my shoulder in it. I've already talked to reps, like, whatever. So have me in it and show the gameplay, hold my phone. Can you record the entire demo? I don't really need you to explain the game to me. And she's like, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, I asked other people, they said you can. And she's like, and so then she goes and grabs someone who actually worked at Nintendo, like some guy that was just walking around, and says, hey, can I do that? He's like, if that's what he wants, that's what you do.
Yeah. Right.
Make sure his shoulder's in it.
Yeah.
Because they got to show that someone's actually playing it. And it's like, okay. So she picks it up and she records. And I go to this area where Step Talus is at, and she's like, don't go there. She's holding the phone and like, don't go there, you're going to die. I'm like,
I got this.
I literally looked at her and pointed at my shirt. I'm like, do you not, like, literally, I am the Zelda guy. What? You don't tell me not to go. So that's just going to make me want to go. So what?
Yeah. Right.
And she's like, no one can beat this. Don't go there. I'm like, maybe you can't.
Yeah. Right.
That's all I kept thinking about. You can't. I beat it. She dropped the phone and turned off the camera and would stop recording while I was fighting it because she was pissed off that I didn't listen to her because sometimes these people that are these demos, they were a lot nicer in follow-up years.
Oh yeah,
like sure. Luigi's Mansion 3, they said, hey,
those guys were awesome.
Yeah, the Luigi's Mansion 3 people were like, hey, here's a couple tips, but we're not going to really tell you anything. I figured it out. And there were other people that were cooler. Like there were some demos where the guy when it was clearly like it was like our 4th time through playing, and the one guy's like, you've played this demo already, haven't you? Yeah. Hey, by the way, hit this button and shield surf because
right. Yeah.
didn't know how to shield surf at the time.
Yeah.
We're like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
Right.
So like, it's like, okay, so now the guy's giving us pro tips. So I beat Steptalis literally day one in like my first play session, and we don't have the recording. Meanwhile, Nintendo Treehouse is busy just wiping non-stop to this thing over and over again. Nobody on the show floor is able to beat it. Everyone's dying. We already have a kill. We want to be the first ones on the internet to get it up. And nope. And of course, I couldn't get them to hold it on other times. Eventually, Eric and I, we'll go back and forth. And they're like, no, you can't do that because then one of you can't play the demo. And we're like, well, that's stupid.
Because now with the Luigi's Mansion, the last time, they allowed us, we were in there like, hey, can one of us hold in film and then the other one just play the next time? They're like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah,
they didn't care.
They didn't care. But, and I understood it's the only game they have, and the demos are really long.
Yeah.
So, like, I get it. But it was also, okay, whatever. Like, the same thing with Link's Awakening. Actually, I think with Link's Awakening, they wouldn't let us switch back and forth who was playing. I think they ushered us through. Cause it was,
they did, but which was fine.
The line was also really long.
Yeah.
But here, the thing so I got the kill, and it's still a top viewed video. Like, we got it when we went up to the media area, whatever. We got the kill, and I got the video up, and it's fine. It still got a lot of views, but like I couldn't say world's first on it,
right?
So like because literally the same day that I got it up, Treehouse finally took it down on stream. And I'm like, you fuckers.
Yeah.
Because their takedown got separated out by Nintendo for a clip with 2 million plus views. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. That should have been me.
Right.
I had the world's first kill.
Yeah. Well, we
just struggle to understand why you would get so mad because you succeeded. It's just funny.
Yeah. She was pissed. When she saw that I was going to take it out, she's like... I'm like, why? What are you angry about?
Wasn't she just like when she was telling you to not go over there? She set your phone down to tell you to not go over there.
Yeah,
and that's when it ended.
Yeah, and I said, please keep recording. She's like, no, you didn't listen to me. And I said, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep playing because like this is my first time playing the game. Maybe I am gonna die. Maybe I don't want it on footage. I have no idea. But then maybe I do. Maybe this is a really cool. I don't know what I'm about to run into. This might be a really cool experience.
And then there was the one whole playthrough of you just dying in random ass ways.
Well, that's because
that was hilarious.
So remember, the original goal was to beat all the shrines in one go.
Yeah.
Be one of the few people that could pull it off. Because I think the guy said only like one person who's walked through.
How much time did you have?
What?
It's like 15 minutes.
It's like 15 minutes for that demo, for that part of the demo. So, like, it's really tight to try to beat all the shrines. And I'd already beaten them all individually. And I remember I was trying to get to I decided to go to the one in the snow area first. The problem is there's like two peaks in the snow area. I went to the wrong peak. Because, I mean, I played the demo a bunch, but I only beat that shrine one time. So, like, it wasn't like I was an expert at the snow area. And no, I did not have any food or do any cooking because I realized that I think I could get there in, like, 1 or 2 deaths, which would actually, because death just brings you back just a little bit. And it would save me time versus going and picking peppers and trying to cook and all that.
Okay.
So, whatever. I get there, it's the wrong peak. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it now. You can't make a mistake if you're going to get to all 4. Right. So I'm like, well, now I'm going to find how many different ways can I kill Link.
Yes, and it was
because the guy's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, this is like my 10th time playing the demo. Yeah, I'm serious.
Yeah,
like I've already experienced everything. I was just trying to get what I thought would be a really cool video together, but it is what it is. I failed. It happens. That's what I get. I should have made notes.
Have you ever gotten a chance to play in master mode and try and take out that Lionel that they put in there?
Oh, yep. Isn't that a nice little touch in the opening area?
Imagine if they had that for the initial demo.
I finally beat bad admittance because here I am talking about pro Zelda player. I haven't beat a Lionel until this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey.
I did it on live stream.
Nice.
I did it with only 4 hearts, I think, and like really shitty gear, but I did it.
Yeah.
I finally know how to do it. I finally know how to do it. So now, like, I'm like, God, if I had better gear, I'd just wreck this thing.
Yeah.
But it's like even like the gold ones. I'm like, I've seen the gold ones. I've seen I could probably wreck those too. Now that I know what I'm doing, it's all right. I mean, at my current gear level, because I don't know why I did this. Maybe my kids. I don't know. My save file vanished.
Fine.
Which sucks. Yeah. So it's like I'm all over again, and like I was gonna 100% master mode, and I'm like, am I really gonna collect all the Korok seeds?
Oh God.
I can't even do that in a normal mode. That's just 900 is just too much.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's my favorite game of all time, and yet I haven't 100% it. I don't know. So setting all that aside, we've been talking obviously all this time about E3, obviously reminiscing a bit on some old stuff. I want to kind of wrap up the podcast by talking about our plans for E3, because they're starting to take shape. But this is the earliest my plans for E3 have really taken shape. Besides, hey,
us knowing we're going.
We're going. Let's get flights and hotel planned.
Right.
That's our plans. Flight, hotel. Worry about the rest later.
And most of that has been pretty much the same the last couple of years before that. So we just go back to the same hotel. We get a rental car.
Yeah, well, the hotels, that one hotel has nice internet.
Yes.
Nice wired internet.
And the pool is phenomenal.
And the pool is great. And it's in a good location where you're not crowded. Like the first year we went, in 2016.
We were in Hollywood.
We were at Holiday Inn. I don't know if it was Express or whatever, which was down in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And hey, it was really hard to get into the parking lot.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I mean,
it's a great hotel. The restaurant.
But the hotel was great,
phenomenal.
and the restaurant had like the best breakfast.
Oh yeah.
But again, it was, and I think it was an E3 approved one, so you could technically take a shuttle, but then you're stuck by going on what times the shuttles are going, and lines at E3 are huge. So we had a rental car, so we just left early before the shuttles. We left way early, and we still wouldn't be first in line. So, but like that was. But the reason we went back to, I think it's Cambridge or Cambria, one of the two.
Yeah, something like that.
That we go to, because it's in a nice location. Plus, it's near a Fat Tomato Pizza, which helps.
Oh yeah.
It's like literally down the street.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And it's not even that big. I mean, it's a busy street, but compared to Hollywood, it's not that busy.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Anyway, so our plans for E3 this year. Obviously, we can't go because there is nothing to go to. I mean, Nintendo could invite us to their headquarters.
That'd be awesome.
You could change my entire plans, Nintendo. Let's go. But that's not going to happen. So we're not a big enough deal, all right? God.
Get enough people to tweet.
Yo, Andre, yet.
Get enough people to tweet at Nintendo.
If we hit 70,000 subscribers this year, I will be surprised. I say that as what I gained 30,000 last year. I don't think that's happening again. That was like a one-off year.
Maybe you'll gain like 100.
Thank you, 3D All-Stars. You're why I gained so many subscribers last year.
Yeah.
I mean, with Breath of the Wild too, like there are games we could see, like we don't know what those games are going to be, and all of those games are like opportunities to just establish a whole other audience,
Yeah, plus my Zelda videos already get good views, but I came from a Zelda background, so it's not a surprise. So
I actually want to ask you a question before we close that up. That's all right. Because we were talking about like the 2016 demo, right?
Yep.
So I've been thinking, right, if Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be the star of the show, right? I think we all think that.
Yep.
Like, what sort of demo are they going to put together? Like, it's going to have to feel different. Is it going to be the beginning of the game again? Like, it's kind of hard for me to sort of wrap my head around what. If you think about like,
okay, so there's not going to be a playable demo for fans. I think that's a given. And if you remember what they did in Treehouse, they spent a lot of time playing the demo that they had on the show floor, but then in the later days, they started going to other areas. So I don't know that they're really going to have like a demo area. I think it's just going to be, this is a section of the game we're willing to show off, and this is what we're going to play. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be something towards the beginning, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're going to show anything mid or late game. They didn't do that last time. Why would they do that this time?
Yeah.
I guess my assumption,
under like if that trailer was under Hyrule Castle, not surprised if they show us more of that. Not surprised if they show us a little bit of an overworld of an area we've already been to in the original Breath of the Wild, but show us some differences to kind of get you excited for how they're changing the landscape. Maybe show off, like I'm assuming that glowing arm thing is now replacing Sheikah Slate and going to be some whole different ability sets. So like we're going to probably see some of that. So like I think we're going to see basically a lot of the basics and some of the things that make this different and more exciting. Mm-hmm. And potentially, this is probably more of a hope. If they're going to have more traditional dungeons in here, I could see them showing off the first dungeon in the game.
That would be exciting.
To get you hyped. Being like, hey, by the way, this is like one of 11 dungeons. Have fun.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing about like the whole concept of them going back to original dungeons. If it's an original dungeon, it's still not going to be like previous dungeons because it's within the world of Breath of the Wild. So what does that mean? It means you can potentially access it from more than one point. Like imagine if the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time was like redone in Breath of the Wild. you wouldn't just have to hook shot to that tree to get in, right? Like, or the pillars. So all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of but there's a whole bunch of possibilities. You know, if they were to kind of go back to that style, they would have to reconsider how they would do it, obviously. But there's just so much potential there for sure. I guess for me, like when I phrased that question, I was just kind of thinking, will there be like a Great Plateau equivalent for the beginning of the game? Maybe, maybe not, because they may assume there's a lot of players that are sort of coming from Breath of the Wild. But
they always so if you think about the beginning of every Zelda game, it's always like a little slower paced, a little introductory, even in sequels. Even
I hope they don't make it slow. I think that's the bad thing about Breath of the Wild, that he kind of jumps into it.
Like it's confusing, but also it kind of slowly pushes you and nudges you in the right path. Like even if you die, the game's not over, right? You get to figure out what the heck you did wrong. So I think there's still going to be some sort of tutorial. Whether they lock you to that area right away and don't let you leave until you complete something, that I don't know. They could though. All I know is whatever happened, Link's starting the game asleep.
Oh, you think so?
I think he's starting the game asleep. Because
I got an idea for you.
I mean, he was asleep for obvious reasons in Breath of the Wild. Skyward Sword, he's asleep. Link's Awakening, he's asleep. Ocarina of Time, he's asleep. Like, just
Twilight Princess, I think he's not asleep.
In like everything. Majora's Mask, he was not asleep, technically.
Or Twilight Princess.
Well, I don't.
He was with his
room. He was in his house, but I'm not sure.
I thought he was with the father figure by the pond. Am I misremembering?
I think you're misremembering.
The guy from Ordon Village.
You start up in his treehouse like you did in, because I think it started the treehouse and the kids yelling at you, outside of it.
Huh.
And then the pond is when the pond is the Epona stuff. Maybe
I just remember there being like a monologue.
There is a cutscene where you're talking to that one guy. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the very beginning. It's in.
I mean, either way though, you're right that most of them, there is definitely like a motif of waking up from sleeping.
It's like a running joke at this point.
Yeah, so that's possible. So let me. I have a kind of an idea for you actually. Like, I can kind of envision potentially the beginning of the game basically being what the initial trailer is. Basically, you're on this mission to sort of quest through this cavern, right? Like that is the beginning of the game. So maybe perhaps starts off more linear, right? But this linear path allows you to sort of learn a little bit more about what's going on. Maybe they play around with some co-op Zelda elements, for example, or some sort of companion. She's maybe a companion character. Something along those lines they're going to maybe do. But maybe like the opening cutscene of the game is like Link sleeping on that ox while Zelda's sort of manning it for a little bit, and then he wakes up to your idea. But but maybe the opening portion of the game is just traversing downwards as it sort of convey different elements of the game to you, and then all hell breaks loose with the resurrection of Ganondorf. Maybe there's like an escape sequence or something like that, or you just see everything sort of go crazy, and whatever happens to the world, that's what happens, and we see that like right at the end of the, I guess, demo or prologue to the game.
Or maybe it's like Link's Awakening and it's all just a dream.
Yeah. Spoilers, wait.
Sorry, did I spoil that for people?
Wait.
Breath of the Wild 1 is all a dream, and he wakes up, and Breath of the Wild 2 is just reality.
Yeah. I mean, they did go to Age of Calamity and add time travel and just make people wonder what the hell is happening.
Completely retcon.
Guys, I've seen some people argue that like, Age of Calamity is no longer canon because of this time travel aspect. The original ending that leads to Breath of the Wild is in Age of Calamity, folks.
It doesn't impact Breath of the Wild in any way.
Yeah, like the original ending that leads to Breath of the Wild technically happens in Age of Calamity. There's just now an alternative ending that could potentially lead to something else. And Nintendo wrote the story, so maybe Nintendo wanted an alternative ending that potentially gets referenced in the new game or leads to an alternative timeline, so like they're not stuck on the Breath of the Wild path forever. I have no idea. I'm just being.
If Triforce Heroes is canon, Age of Calamity can be canon. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for like the main Zelda games. It doesn't impact those stories. So like, what does it really matter if it's canon or not? Yeah, but
and again,
it is part of the
had the ending that led to Breath of the Wild, so it's not like contradicting Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
just throwing that.
Yeah,
out there. It's
just a separate reality. Yeah.
Anyways, and we're talking about a series of split timelines and time travel and multiple worlds.
There was already precedence. I think it makes sense.
This, yeah,
as much sense as time travel can make.
So, yeah, that's a whole nother debate.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. We have E3 coming up, and we have a lot of plans in store. One, obviously, folks, the obvious is obvious. We're live stream reacting to everything. All 4 days, we've been doing it since basically the beginning of Nintendo Prime. We don't just cover Nintendo. We'll go for Microsoft. We'll go through Square, Capcom, everyone who's at the event that does anything. Basically, as long as the ESA or Nintendo Treehouse or something is streaming, we are there reacting to it, okay? But we also know from our experience, and this is a different year, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go. There are kind of lulls at times where, like, okay, this is like the third time Treehouse is playing this game, and there doesn't seem to be new information. We'll still have that game playing for you on screen. We're not going to close the stream, but we might have additional things going on to further entertain you and give you reasons to stick with us and not just leave. Some of those things are really, really exciting because this year, I'm happy to announce that we have a shitload of giveaways going on. So let's just start there. We have over $1,000 of shit being given away, and I mean like good stuff. We're talking Pro controllers, we're talking new copies of games like Mario Golf Super Rush, Skyward Sword, we're talking about the Skyward Sword Joy-Con. You guys really want those, right? We're going to give away a pair during E3. You don't have to wait. It's not something that you sign up for and wait weeks or months to find out who wins. You will find out live on stream who's winning. Oh, and by the way, that's not the only way we're handling giveaways. Like, we'll have our giveaways where you go and you follow on Twitter, you do all these things, and then we pop a button and it spits out a name, and that's who wins, and we'll email you and watch you get excited on stream, hopefully, if we catch you. I don't know, maybe we have thousands of people watching on stream, so maybe it'll be really hard to catch it. Maybe we got to put the chat in slow mode. I have no idea. But what I do know is we aren't just doing that. We are actually going to allow you guys to win prizes. So it's like another way of doing a giveaway. But what's going to happen is there's going to be times throughout E3 on all 4 days when we're going to do basically a random selector. We're going to say, I'm going to use a bot for this. We're going to put a phrase in the chat, and you type in that phrase if you'd like to participate. We're going to let you know what you're participating in ahead of time, and that's going to be going one-on-one in a game against either Eric or myself on stream. If you beat us one-on-one, whoever gets randomly chosen, make sure, don't sign up for it if you don't have the game and don't have the ability to play us. That we're not paying for your Nintendo Switch Online account. We're not going to buy you a Switch just so you can play against us. That's not how it works. You have to already have the game. So make sure when you do it, and we'll note at the time, make sure that when you sign up for this, you have the game, you have the ability to play us, whether it's Mario Kart, Splatoon, Smash, whatever game. Well, I'll go through it'll probably be something on my Switch because I got to have this pre-set up ahead of time. So I'll go through it and make sure that's all good to go. And what games that we could do with that. Obviously, Smash is the obvious one. That'll always be. There will be some Smash fighting happening for sure, which means I got to practice. I don't want to make it too easy on you guys. I'm not very good.
Yeah.
So I got to practice.
Not good at all.
But here's what's going to happen. It's another way we're doing a giveaway where basically it gives you a chance to win something. So if you beat me or if you beat Eric, you win the prize. If you don't, it's kind of like when Mr. Beast says, like, hey, if you catch this ball, you get $17,000. If you don't, you get nothing. And then you don't catch it. He literally means you get nothing. So it's going to be kind of like that. It kind of sucks. I want you to
Next
win.
man up.
Like, I want you to win. I want you to kick Eric's ass.
Yeah.
I want you to kick my ass. But I have some pride. I can't make it. I got to win. I got to beat somebody besides Eric.
Yeah, right.
I got to beat somebody. And Eric and I might have random matches against each other. Depending on how E3 is going and what's circulating, what's happening, there's potential that Eric and I will add some additional entertainment, play against each other on stream, have little punishments for each other, maybe some hot peppers or, we've done pie in the faces and eggs on the head, and we've done stuff like that. So that could be something as well.
We've done a cold jogger on the block.
Yeah,
well, I've done a cold jogger on the block.
Yeah, we're not going to do anything. We've done drinking ocean water.
Yes, we have. No, what do you mean we have? Wait, I have.
We've also done liquid death, which
yeah,
I lost that one.
Yes, you did.
Dang it. So gosh knows if there's any sort of punishment that's like, for me it's tequila, for Eric it's tequila.
Pretty much anything.
Pretty much anything. I don't even know. Maybe I get one of those ghost pepper chips in.
Did the pickle juice and mayonnaise? That one was.
That one wasn't as bad.
No, it wasn't bad. But
it was one of those that sounded gross.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, okay, we've had worse.
Yeah.
This isn't the worst tasting thing ever. Have you tried alcohol?
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically we're basically having our own event while also covering E3. So we'll be streaming as long as E3 is streaming. There will be videos happening after effect. We will have impressions and reactions and emergency discussions and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. We're also going to be having guests. So as an example, AndresRestart's going to actually be part of it time to time. He's going to do obviously his own content. We're very respectful that all content creators have their own live reactions, their own pre-shows, post-shows, everything that they're doing. We're not trying to rain on their parade, although, I mean, we're giving away shit, so you might want to watch ours. But no, seriously, like, it's okay. Like, you know, you don't have to watch our, as an example, while we're live reacting to, say, Nintendo, we're not giving away something during the live reaction segments. I can tell you that it'll happen the pre-shows, the post-shows, the between stuff, but like the Microsoft thing, Nintendo, we're not going to give away something during those. Now, you might be able to sign up for a giveaway during it. Like, we might be, like, in the pre-show, be like, hey, here's a link to go sign up for this giveaway, winner chosen after after the show is over, you know, in the post-show we'll choose the one. That could be the case, but you literally could just sign up for that and go watch somebody else and then come back. You know, so you will have to be present to win. That is something I am requiring, that you must be present to win, so it's not something you could just, like, you know, if you're not present, you don't win. I choose a new winner. And, like, guys, we're giving away some serious shit. We're working with other companies. So while we have dedicated a $1,000 budget to various things like Pro controllers and eShop gift cards, and we're not talking like the $5 ones like I typically do on my own. I mean, we're talking, I think right now we have 5 $20 ones, 2 $50s, and 1 $100. Well, $99 because that's the way it is on Switch. It's not actually a clean 100 for some odd reason. So those are like some of the prizes that you'll probably win in facing one-on-one battles with Eric and I. As I said, Pro controllers, copies of games, Nintendo Switches, and actually we have a specific budget set aside just in case a special edition Switch or Switch Pro is announced during E3. We will give away one. Literally during E3, if Switch Pro is announced, we will have a giveaway for a Switch Pro or for a themed console. So if they do like a Zelda themed console, we will give away that Zelda themed console. And I don't care if it ends up, like, I hate saying this, if we have to pay scalper prices because we can't somehow get the pre-order in, we'll pay scalper prices. Doesn't matter. You're getting the console. It's happening. So, which, by the way, I'm going to want it. So, you know, we're going to get some legit pre-orders in because, I might have to put together a crack team behind the scenes. Hey, just in case, go get the pre-orders in.
Yeah, Yulia's going to have to jump in.
Yulia, here's my other laptop, my other phone. Yeah. Get the pre-orders in now because I'm too busy doing the show to do it.
Yeah, right.
Worst case scenario, you just have to sell your 3D All-Stars copy and you can make up the money right there.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. No thanks.
It's going to go up. I mean, I want to keep mine.
I don't have a physical copy of it anyways. I only have a digital copy.
Okay.
But I do have some physical copies of games I could sell. I think I might have a physical copy of Xenoblade hanging around. That's worth a lot right now.
The original one?
The Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Not not the Wii one. No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I have a. No, I don't have a copy of the Wii one. I was unable to get one successfully back in the day. Sad. But yeah,
I sold mine foolishly for. I mean, if I had kept that.
What was it for? A slice of pizza? Be honest. You don't have to tell me. Was it like a bill? It's okay. Okay, we don't have to.
Something along those lines. I was like what, like in my early 20s.
I was just saying,
like
money to drink.
19, 20 or something like that.
I go party with my friends. I need some money. Go sell my games quick for the cash. I've been there.
Something like that back then, probably.
Something like that. Yeah, I've sold I've literally sold like entire consoles, so I had money to go party. I've been there. And just
I thought I was like, oh, it's slightly above value.
Instant regret the next day. It's like, no, I had a lot of fun, but like really, I probably should have just like not gone or borrowed money instead. This is just dumb. Anyways, mistakes you guys make when you're younger sometimes. So yeah, our E3 is going to be awesome. We have a massive show planned for you guys. All the same E3 coverage you've known and loved. We're going to have a brand new set kind of built out for it. This podcast set's part of it, but it's only like half of the set. It'll make sense once you see the stream. I'm actually hiring some professionals to help us put together our layouts for the streams because we're going to have a whole bunch of different stream layouts from ones that have multiple cameras, one on Eric, one on myself, while we're watching the event so you can see our we don't have to be like little tiny people, down in the corner that you can barely see our reactions to things. We're going to be bigger, They're not like, the majority will still be the main show, of course, but there'll be bigger, individual cameras of Eric and I, so you can see our actual reactions live, in real time.
Watch you have a heart attack again.
And we just have a bunch of different layouts that are going to just be for various different things. Obviously, ones for when we're doing gameplay against each other. Other ones where maybe we're going to shrink down what's happening on screen on the show and maybe end up doing like a one-on-one between Eric and I, because what's happening currently in that one isn't exactly entertaining people or whatever, or maybe viewers dipping. All right, hey man, let's do a little thing and do a punishment, and then we'll switch to a different view, and then obviously if something interesting is happening while we're fighting each other, I'll be like, oh crap, switch back, and Eric and I will still kick each other's ass. Well, I'm trying to react, because we already have the TV set up to watch everything. That's perfect.
Oh yeah,
we're good with that. We have a TV to watch it all on.
Imagine they finally show off Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a crazy show. Basically, it's everything that E3 is going to be, plus the addition of stuff I've literally never done before, but we're going to make it the best we can. We're giving away thousands of dollars of stuff. We have companies who have partnered with us to give away even more copies of games. Even more. Right now, I think we got 10 additional copies of games from multiple companies, and these aren't like slouch. $2, discount 1-star rated games. I'm making sure the companies we work with, we're getting quality products to give away. And yes, out of the kindness of my heart, they're not actually requesting this. I am going to talk briefly about each game while we're doing the giveaway for them. Not because they're asking me to do it. No. But I feel like, they provided free keys to give away to you guys. The least I could do is talk a little bit about the game we're about to give away and throw a link in the chat or whatever if you'd like to purchase it and not worry about the giveaway. Who knows? We might even get companies that decide to do special discounts for us and have discounts code for you guys. That's something as well that there's a couple that have emailed me that we're maybe working out. Hey, if I can't get, if they can't provide keys, can we get discount codes, stuff like that. So, because apparently, I didn't know this. I found this out today. Every key that is provided to you by an indie dev or a major AAA third party, any of the keys they give you are actually from Nintendo. I didn't realize that Nintendo controls how many download keys you have of your own game. I was definitely not aware of that. Found that out today because I had one company shut us down that was actually not happy about it.
Limited quantities.
Yeah, why is Nintendo limiting that company's access to their own game? I find that to be weird, but apparently that's how it works behind the scenes. Maybe it's completely normal. I have no idea. Obviously, bigger companies, they don't have any issue. One company gave us three different games, 3 copies of each game. Obviously, it's not a problem for them, but they're a bigger company, so Nintendo probably is more willing to give them whatever the hell they want.
Either that or it's a great excuse to seem pissed, but it's not actually. But whatever the reasoning, even if it's a complete BS excuse that they used to kind of throw blame on other people because they couldn't do it, whatever. It is what it is. But
okay, here's the thing: it's a wide variety of content, guys. We're talking AAA games. Basically, our giveaways range from Nintendo first-party games, the AAA third-party games, to high-quality, top-notch, high-rated indie games. Potentially, I don't want to promise this yet, but there is one indie studio talking to me about a major game that hasn't been announced yet that's being announced during E3 that we might be doing some giveaways for. But I can't talk about it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I now know it exists, but I can't talk about it. I will tell you, though, it's not Hollow Knight Silksong. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I know you guys want that game. I almost am glad that it's not that, because I don't know if I could contain that from now to E3. I would, but I mean, I would be like, it's a game that if you guys paid attention, I played a demo of in 2019. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
But this is a game I haven't played, but it's from a big indie studio. So we'll see though. We'll see what happens. Nothing set in stone with that yet. I would love to do giveaways for it. I'm reaching out to everyone who's ever reached out to me. Not just games, by the way. I get people that reach out to me all the time about accessories for Switch. I'm hooking up with them as well, trying to get some extra controllers through the door, extra portable docks if you guys would like that stuff, cases, travel cases, all that jazz. We're trying to make this the biggest giveaway that's ever happened in E3 history from anybody. IGN doesn't do this kind of crap. GameSpot doesn't do that kind of stuff.
No, GameStop definitely doesn't do this.
Like Mr. Beast usually, well, next thing you know, Mr. Beast is going to be streaming E3 and be giving away, freaking $8 million. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, Mr. Beast. Let me be the giveaway king.
He saw this and was like, I can do better.
I heard your idea. I could do you better.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you can, you bastard.
Yeah.
Anyways, and this is also, hey, any game publishers out there, any indie devs, any product people out there that happen to be watching the podcast, hit me up at nathan@nintendoprime.net. Let's work something out, because we could feature your products, make a bunch of fans happy, and who knows, maybe it'll generate some extra sales. It'll at least generate extra attention to your products if it's something that piques their interest. So they might be willing to go look it up in the eShop or bookmark it on Amazon or whatever the case might be. So again, we're making this, guys, the biggest event we can, giving away more stuff than we've ever given away. Lots of stuff. I mean, right now it's looking like there's going to be at least $2,000 if you add the value of everything together that we're giving away, and at least 40 plus people walking away with something. Hopefully by the time we're all done working with all of our partners and all the people that want to work with us, we're talking over 100 winners. And this is all throughout all 4 days. There will be obviously a quote-unquote big item given away at the end of each day. Or I should say each day there will be a big item somewhere in there, but it depends on what you consider to be a big item. Maybe the big item for you is a $100 eShop gift card. Maybe the big item is just the Switch Pro. Maybe the big item to you is a copy of Skyward Sword HD. Maybe it's the Zelda. I mean, what's a big item to you is obviously up to the eye of the beholder. And I also could say some games that will be announced by Nintendo at E3, we're also going to give away copies of. It'll be pre-orders, but we'll pay off the pre-order for you and make sure it gets shipped to your house. So, yeah. Now, some people might ask, are these giveaways open only to people in the United States or North America? That's where it gets tricky. Some things will be only for North America because that's just the way it goes. Like when you're talking like Zelda, Skyward Sword, Joy-Con, I'm not going to ship them to my house and then ship them back out to like Bosnia and pay $180 in shipping
against those people there.
It's just international shipping can be a bit crazy. But if it's like an eShop gift card, guess what? Region free Switch, you can use that anywhere. So digital codes, stuff like that. You know, if you get digital codes of games from publishers, you can use that. That's worldwide. So basically, physical items probably going to be limited to North America. Any digital code items, that'll be worldwide. And we're going to have a nice mix of everything. Like, we've done digital giveaways, but this is a nice mix of physical, digital consoles, probably multiple consoles. I'm excited. Like, I'm just getting excited talking about it. And I'm the one giving it all away. I don't even get to keep any of it. Like,
right.
I'm giving away crap I want. I want those Skyward Sword Joy-Con. God damn it. Like, I need new Joy-Con, but that's all right. Anything for you guys. I know there's people out there struggling way more than me. I literally have a PlayStation 5, a Switch, and an Xbox Series X. I can't bitch. I literally, like, my kids broke a camera, and the next day I spent $1,300 on a new camera. I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm not. It just happens to be a good time of the year. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of you guys are struggling. Some people always wonder why I do these giveaways. Yeah, okay, it helps grow the channel and other stuff, obviously, but I know this pandemic has been just ravaging families. I know some people personally that have lost several family members to it. Thankfully not my family, knock on wood, that continues to be the case. But the bottom line is that I know a lot of you guys are struggling financially, even as we're starting to get vaccinated and get back to work and try to get back to some semblance of whatever normal is going to be. Doesn't change the fact that several people haven't paid their electric bill in 3 years or 2 years or whatever. It doesn't change the fact that, you know, some people that while they've been spending money in entertainment, they can't really afford to do that. They have to worry about food on the table. They have to worry about paying rent or whatever the case might be. And I want to be able to add some entertainment to your guys' lives. That's why I'm trying to give as much stuff as I can away during E3. So you guys don't just watch E3 and potentially go, this is all amazing, but I can't have any of it. Well, at least one if you can, because I'm going to try to make sure that someone can get it as much as we can possibly afford. It's possible that, we might put in even more money in the pool. There's some shakeups going behind the scenes on trying to see how much money can be allocated for it. And don't worry, this isn't like putting myself or Eric or anybody in the poorhouse. We're all good. Mm-hmm. This isn't like money that you like, go keep your money and do stuff with your kid. My kids just went to Kalahari at Wisconsin Dells. Let me tell you, it's not affecting me personally. We're fine. I'm just saying that we're trying to see how much we could allocate to try to help out as many people as we can. And this is also a nice reminder that we do have a giveaway going on right now. We are not giving away cash prizes during E3. There are some logistics and legal ease that happens around cash prizes during live streams at those events. However, we do have a $100 cash prize going out right now that I don't care what you spend it on. You need to help paying rent. You need help with groceries. You need to buy diapers. You want to buy games. I don't really care. Use it on whatever you want. I decided to do $100 cash this month. That giveaway has been going on all month. There'll be a link down in the description and in the pinned comment on our YouTube channel. If you're listening to the audio version, head on over to YouTube to enter it. You get additional entries for commenting on every single video that we've put out in the month of April. But again, this is just me trying to help out. And also because we're pooling all this stuff to make E3 this giant big event, there will be no giveaway happening in May. So I know we've been doing monthly giveaways for like 6 months now. We won't be doing one in May because we're building up everything to literally stockpile up for E3. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. Even if you don't win anything, you're going to see Eric and I punish each other more than we've probably ever punished each other ever. And I don't know if we're prepared for it, but we're going to make it happen. It's going to at least be entertaining. Some
punishments that
it's going to at least be entertaining. I might get a broken finger on stream. I don't know. So next thing you know, we bust out the knife game. Do you trust me?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's going to at least be entertaining. Even if you get a chance to play Eric and I and you lose, you at least get the satisfaction of, hey, in a big stream with thousands of people watching, you got to go up against maybe one of your favorite YouTubers and try to kick his ass. You'll probably kick mine. I'll let you know, I'm not good at Smash. And if I beat you in Smash, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know there's going to be like some kid that'll probably randomly get selected that's not very good either, and then I smoke them, and I'm going to... I don't know why I'm getting that cocky. You guys have seen... Any of my longtime viewers have seen me play Smash. I have yet to beat a single person. I haven't even won an online match. I haven't even won a single online match with my main.
Oh,
so
okay.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I'm not good at Smash. But will I be practicing? God, you damn well better.
Does that mean I'm going to have to get Smash? That means I'm going to have to get Smash.
What? You can do it on my Switch. The question is, do I buy all the DLC for Smash? Because, fun story, I haven't bought any of the DLC for Smash.
Yeah.
Do I main Banjo-Kazooie?
Oh, he's so good. They're such a good set of characters, man.
I'm a Zelda guy, so I usually main Toon Link and Young Link, but... Banjo-Kazooie...
Maybe after this E3, you'll get to main as another one.
You never know. And there are some games I'm legitimately pretty good. Like, I'm pretty decent at Mario Kart. It's like riding a bike. I always do well. Anytime we have tournaments with all the fans, I always place really well. So, we'll see how that goes. Who knows? Maybe we end up having a Mario Kart tournament that happens throughout the entire first day of E3. Mm-hmm. And then whoever finishes with the top points gets a prize. I have no idea. We're still sorting out all the logistics. I just want you guys to be hyped, not just for the game announcements, but to be entertained. Maybe walk away with some nice little prize in your pocket. Maybe a new Switch. Maybe a Switch Pro. Maybe a copy of Breath of the Wild 2. Who the hell knows?
Watch one of us cry on stream.
Watch one of us cry and cry. Watch me have a mini heart attack and fall over and I get shocked at some announcement that I did not expect coming out of left field. Watch me maybe get angry because I'm mad at something that happened. Watch whatever the hell you want. We're going to have more guests too. AndresRestart right now is one of the few guests that we're going to have on in probably one of our post shows a bit later. He'll come on and start reacting to some of the Nintendo stuff, obviously. And who knows, we might even have guests that, well, they might not come on the show. They might do separate conversation videos with us after we're done live streaming and stuff like that. Still working out the logistics because we want to involve all of our friends that we have on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And worldwide. Even some of our patrons, by the way. I don't talk about Patreon very often. I don't really push it very often. We do have a Patreon at patreon.com/NintendoPrime. You absolutely do not need to sign up. You could argue there's no reason to even sign up. But for $20 a month, we've had this tier where you could be on a podcast. Well, actually, what I'm going to be doing here for E3 is if any of our $20 patrons can be in a conversation video, don't have to be on camera,
Yeah.
just on Discord, we'll record a conversation about E3. So you want to talk with me one-on-one about stuff that happens at E3? Let's do it, and we'll make literally a whole featured video out of it.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to be doing for our $20 patrons.
Nice.
Again, you don't have to do it, but it's an option for those that want to. Andre, you don't have to do it. You're a fellow YouTuber. You can just hit me up. Let's make it happen.
Do it.
Yo, I know if there's Zelda. If there's Zelda, Andre's going to be like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I have time for your video. You need to come to my channel and talk to my.
I mean,
Yeah,
I got no problem
you never
with
know.
that.
We may pop up on other channels.
Here's the thing. If Zelda stuff drops, I don't think I'm part of the Zelda community. You know how many people are going to be hitting me up to have conversations? Game Over Jesse, HMK, RMFH. God,
it's gonna be crazy.
There's going to be so many people hitting me up like, we got to talk about Zelda. We got to talk about Zelda. I'm like, I know. What do I do? Mm-hmm. Let's do a podcast with 30 people.
Hey, we got the TV.
I don't know if it'll work that well with 30.
We got the TV.
I think there's a limit on how many videos. Maybe it's 8, 9. Actually, no, wait. I've seen small movies. It's like 16 or something. I don't know. And we got the TV. We got move our cameras around. Multiple angle podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get everyone in.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead and check out AndresRestart, guys. If you've never heard of this channel, seriously, let's try. Let's make this a goal together, folks. Let's get him to 9K. You know what? Screw that. Let's get him to 10K by E3.
That is my goal to get there by the summertime. So if that happens, that would be epic.
By E3.
Let's get AndresRestart to 10K subscribers by E3. In fact, I know if every single person who watched this podcast goes and subscribes to him, he will literally hit 10K. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's get him there. Let's build his audience. I really like his content. I've been watching a lot of it over the last few days. I like his takes on things. He's a lot like me. He really likes to have conversations around this news and stuff. He doesn't just want to, hey, this thing was announced by Nintendo, game explain, 1 minute, done.
Yeah.
Like, he actually likes to have conversations like me, so I really appreciate that.
I just like breaking things down, because there's always multiple angles to everything, right?
Totally.
Like, for example, that Splatoon 3 tournament, that has implications for a whole bunch of other things, not just Splatoon itself. Like, there's just so much you can kind of take from all these little bits of news and rumors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. So, do you have any content right now or upcoming that you want people to check out? I mean, I'll link it down in the description, too.
I mean, if you check out my channel, you could just kind of look. I guess I'll point out a couple things.
What would you want new viewers to be like? What's the content that I think is going to hook you?
I don't know, because I just
you think
kind of always.
What he's saying is everything's fantastic.
I feel like if you like speculation and analysis of Nintendo stuff, then you're gonna like what I do, because that's. If you like Nate's content, I think you're gonna like my content. I will tell you this, couple things. One, I did put out a hardcore prediction that Breath of the Wild 2 and the Switch revision that we've been hearing about will come out for the holiday.
Nice.
And I'm so confident in this prediction. And of course, I could be wrong, but I'm so confident in this prediction. I'm willing to make a bit of a gamble. So if I'm wrong, I will have to do certain painful tasks. Ooh. I did a similar prediction for the Diamond and Pearl remakes. I told people that if I was wrong about Diamond and Pearl remakes being confirmed at the end of the month to come out this year for back in February, I would have to do Naked Snow Angels. I was right, so it didn't have to happen. But this time around for Breath of the Wild 2 and the Switch Pro, if it does not happen, there will be pain for me. Perhaps I'll have to spend a day collecting Korok seeds, or I'll have to drink lake water in the woods or something in the wild.
We've done
something along those lines.
I don't know if it's much worse than the ocean. Yeah. At least that's like fresh water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fresh, but I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's still
gross. Or maybe some sort of disgusting food like from Breath of the Wild. Something that needs to be blurred out. You could check out my channel. I have a video on that.
That's great.
I already put out my predictions.
That alone is worth the checkout.
Yeah. Oh my god. I almost want him to be wrong now.
Right.
Like seriously, I want you to be right.
I only did it because I felt I only. That's the thing though. I put out the prediction with the gamble because I'm willing to risk this because I think it's gonna happen. And but if I'm wrong, I will do it.
It happened last time, so you got lucky.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, when I gamble, I usually win. So
yeah.
I'm willing to gamble. That's how much I believe. Well, now Nintendo, I want you to announce it but release it in January. just so that I still don't have to wait that long for it, and I get to enjoy watching the punishment, or watching the blurred out punishment, whatever it is.
I mean, that's like the perspective, right? Like, even if we're disappointed by the news, at least there's something to look forward to.
Entertain you with it, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, they're not stream. I understand there might be some boring stuff. Well, you know what's not going to be boring? Winning free shit and watching Eric and I torture each other.
Oh yeah,
that alone's worth the price of admission, which is free.
Yeah.
So
it's a great price.
All right, folks. So thanks so much for tuning in. You can find our podcast basically on anywhere that podcasts exist. We're on everything. Audio version, of course, we're talking about video version. That is exclusive to YouTube. That's really it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Enjoy this podcast episode. We'll don't know when. There'll probably be at least one more podcast before E3. Probably two. But kind of depends. We have some. I can kind of give you guys some teases on some upcoming guests. I'm in talks right now with Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat. He wants to be on an episode. So do you know who he is, right? You should know who he is. You follow Nintendo stuff.
Oh yeah. I know.
Anyone who follows leaks, speculations, reports knows who Jeff Grubb is. He's kind of a big deal. So I've been talking to him behind the scenes. He wants to get on a future episode. He couldn't come on this week. He's too busy, but potentially next week we'll see. Don't want to guarantee us next week.
Right.
But just reach out to a couple other people as well, some game developers, trying to get at least one game developer on, because I feel like if we get a game developer on and we get Jeff Grubb, we've come full circle. We've had a professional cosplayer. No. We obviously have YouTubers on all the time.
Yep.
So we have content creators. We get a real journalist on, quote unquote real journalist, whatever you guys want to think about that. By the way, if you don't think Jeff Grubb's a real journalist, you can fuck off. Dude, that guy's one of the most legit gaming journalists I've ever seen.
He might be my favorite.
He's got to be. Like, he's got nothing controversial around him. Like, Jason Schreier can have, like... Jason Schreier is well-known and well-respected, but he's got, like, a lot of controversy sometimes that surrounds him. Like, not necessarily, like, personal drama controversy, but, like, some of his takes, some of his pushing of agendas at times. People don't like that. Jeff doesn't do any of that.
He has a cool energy about him.
He just shoots the shit. Yeah. He literally has the Jeff Grubb's Game Mess show that he does on Twitch, like Monday through Friday. That's just really good. It's just him shooting the shit on things he's hearing about, things that have been announced. Like he'll put up a calendar of like, this is when events are happening. Let's talk about this briefly. Talk about some other things going on. He obviously does all his reports and his articles over at VentureBeat. He was literally willing to talk to guys. He's talking to me in DMs. Literally, the guy will talk to anyone. He's just a really down-to-earth dude. It's hard to not like him, is what I'm trying to tell you. So, again, that's the kind of journalist I like. Someone who's just... I feel like he gets it. In this new age media, he gets it. Jason Schreier is more old-cut media. He doesn't really get... He really doesn't like YouTubers. That doesn't help either. He thinks YouTubers are garbage. So...
He's probably going to continue thinking that after he hears this.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so if we can get that and then get a game developer on, it kind of feels like we've had the full gambit, right?
No.
Next thing you know, Shigeru Miyamoto.
I was thinking that.
E3.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it's happened. By the way, Shigeru Miyamoto would not be a good get for a podcast. Because, no offense to Shigeru Miyamoto, I'll absolutely have a conversation with him.
Oh, yeah.
But... he doesn't really speak English.
There's a language barrier.
There's a language barrier. Everything goes between translators.
Yep.
A great conversation video, I'm sure. A great interview. Mm-hmm. But like a 2-3 hour podcast.
No.
He might get annoyed that I'm just constantly talking to him in English.
Yeah. Well, not just
maybe
that,
Reggie, though, would be down.
Reggie's been more open too. It would be interesting to get the Reginator on. That's a possibility. I should probably reach out.
He has been trolling on Twitter lately too.
Oh, dude, he's been trolling hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is why people love Reggie.
Yeah.
Like everyone thought that it was just like a personality and act that Nintendo built up for him. No, this is just who he is.
Yeah.
He was actually kind of feel like maybe leashed, but beforehand.
Well,
right
yeah,
now,
he's a lot. Yeah. He's a bit more edgier. You see, like he's not controversial per se, but there's one thing he said that some people don't like, but he's not edgy. Like some of his meme lording he has going on right now. It's like, okay, there were always memes around Reggie, but like this is some next level gamer shit right here, and I love it. Good old Reggie. Unleashed. I love it.
Yeah, right.
So unleashed he left GameStop. And yeah,
Before the ship sinks.
so that's a potential get. We'll see. We'll see. He's obviously got a super busy schedule, but he does appear on people's podcasts sometimes. So I've always, if you guys have anyone else, YouTube land or wherever, you'd like me to at least reach out to and ask. I'll reach out to and ask anyone. I don't care. You want me to try to get Philip DeFranco on? I'll reach out to him. He's probably not going to respond.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can reach out. It's not going to hurt anything to DM him and be like, hey, you want to come on a podcast? And no response. Okay, cool. That's what I expected.
Right. Yeah.
That's not them being rude. They're just really popular. But I've literally had people be like, you should go get, who someone asked me to get once. Someone told me that I legitimately should get Mr. Beast on. And to be fair, he has a gaming channel, okay? So he does play games. It's not like he's unaware of video games. So it's like, that's great. And I did message him. And I didn't get a response. What do you expect? Right. You know how many messages people like that get a day? I'd have to get very fortunate. I would need to get like a personal... I basically, when it comes to these big YouTubers that people always want me to get, I have to know someone who knows them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how you get in. You know what sucks? Bob Wolf, I'm calling you out. You son of a bitch. You used to come on my podcast like once a month. Remember back in 2018? Before you became big time?
Yeah.
Now you're big time. You catch me on your live streams. You shout me out on your live streams. You follow me on Twitch. You will send people to my Twitch streams. But when I try to contact you, nothing.
Oof.
Crickets.
Oof.
Crickets. And the funny thing is, I know how to get a hold of you because I know someone who's a smaller YouTuber that's a personal friend of yours that will hook me up to talk to you. But I shouldn't need to go through. I thought we were like this, Bob. I thought we were like this.
I probably screwed it up with the one time at E3 when I saw him in line.
Eric, when you met him in person, I wasn't there,
yep.
So he hates me now.
Yep. That's what it was.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Bob.
I screwed it up. I'm sorry,
What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, Bob.
As Reggie taught me, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
My body is ready to receive you, Bob. Come onto my body. This is going.
All right. We better end the podcast.
You know what? Screw that. I saw no. I saw what you bought beat 'em ups. He had to blur some of it out on his channel. That little co-op video. Yeah. Hey, Wood from Beat 'em Ups talks to me. What's wrong with you? God damn it, Bob.
Oh, Lord.
Calling you out. You're not even going to see this.
No.
You know what? He will see it. Yeah. I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to throw it up on Twitter.
Forward it to him.
I'll throw it up on Twitter, and I'll tag him, and people will just laugh, and then he'll respond.
Yeah.
God damn it, Bob.
No.
Love you, man. I love your content, but seriously, check your damn messages. God. And if you changed it, why didn't you tell me? I'm not in that inner circle anymore.
No.
God, I felt like we were one and the same back in the day. Of course, you have that long hair. I guess I can't. Anyways, all right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Take care.